Okay, we're 4 minutes after the top of the hour. So, I mean, eventually we're going to get this stuff down. But, we got
Well,
to get everything
we're
ready.
not as long as Lucha Underground's happening.
Stupid
That's
Lucha
the thing.
Underground ruins everything.
Yeah, but they fill the hour. They don't leave you hanging for 10 minutes. Am I right, NXT?
Well, NXT was basically a one and done today anyway, so.
True, but it's like, so you're delivering an hour's work. It's weird. NXT is always shorter than the advertised time, yet Smackdown is always on the button, and Raw always goes over. What's that all about?
Well, I can't answer that. So, today was the day that we were told the online store of Hot Topic would be getting the Bullet Club shirts back in stock. Well, there's only really one thing that I can say to that. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh, shit.
Because you see, Cody's shirt, as of about 11:30 last night, was put up on the site, and I was like, ooh, awesome. That means when I get up in the morning, they'll all be on there. Nope, not there. But I can say that Cody's shirt is now officially coming my way.
Okay.
I was able to purchase it, and it is on its way. It'll be here the beginning of August.
Cool.
Welcome, Timbo. Yeah, so I'm waiting on the original Bullet Club shirt and the Kenny Omega shirt, and also the birthday boy. Yes, happy birthday, Marty Skrull.
I've seen the thing that he tweeted like 2 years ago. Only 5 people came to his birthday party. This year it was 15.
Yeah,
that's what money can do. Hashtag sellout.
Well, the great thing about it is that, like, I mean, with the Bullet Club stuff on Hot Topic, they're actually listed under. If you look at the actual website itself, you can search for NJPW still, but it's also listed now under Bullet Club.
Okay.
And everything will be available by the middle of August. And that should be including the LIJ shirt, whichever one they decide they want to bring out, and also the original New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt. And the special, of course, Elite shirt that is only available at Hot Topic. So, if you want to try to find them in stores, be my guest. I haven't been able to go to my local Hot Topic. I might see if I can swing that this weekend. It's not probable, but we'll see what happens. I might have a way to do that. If not, then I'm just going to depend on the online store and get the shirts that way. So this is the Wednesday show. The Wednesday show is the hodgepodge of pro wrestling entertainment here on the Popcast Network. We're going to be discussing a little bit of everything. We got SmackDown 205 Live and NXT for all of you wow, for all you WWE fans out there. And then we're
gonna just did the unthinkable, everybody. Holy shit!
God dang it. We've got GFW, see what's going on in the world of Impact, and we got Lucha Underground, which likes to overrun. Thanks, guys. What Culture Pro Wrestling, and we've got going on in UFC, as well as Ring of Honor, and the continuation of G1 Climax tournament in New Japan Pro Wrestling. All the news and rumors from the professional wrestling world. All this tonight and more here on the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. My name is Owen. This is Ashley. Let's talk a little pro wrestling.
I need to shut that. I'm making a list for Owen, which I'm hopefully going to have done by the time this gets archived. So unless you're listening live, you're not going to find out the deals that I'm going to try and sort of give to Owen.
Welcome, Logan, back. It's been a while. We appreciate you returning. No worries. Completely understand things get busy. We're glad to have you back.
Logan, keep listening when I get to the bit because I need to mention it.
Yeah,
in fact, screw it.
Probably
I'm mentioning it now because Logan can look and probably buy out all the stock so Owen can get nothing.
Yeah.
If you go to wwnlive.com and go to their shop, every single DVD that they have on their store is reduced to $4. Well, I say every. It's basically all the old DGUSA stuff, FIP stuff, or Evolve stuff. None of the PWG stuff is, which is annoying because that would be brilliant if it was. Also, I've just noticed some of the early Shine ones are there. And some of the early ones actually weren't too bad. So I'm getting a list of that sorted out for Owen so he can check through for certain shows or certain matches. Because for $4, you can't even probably get that online for free for $4. Okay, I proved that wrong. You probably can't buy it online like off eBay for $4. That's what I meant. And I don't know how many of the matches will be up for free anyway. So, Logan, go there. Or anybody else. So,
You went with the sound of our voices right now.
yeah, we'll kick off with the down of Smacks. So here comes Kevin, the new champ. Says, this feels right. I'm once again US champ. I'll prove that if your heart's pure and you're a good person, good things happen. That's what happened at Battleground. I took my title back from the thief, that's AJ. And now, once again, I'm US champ, and I can go back to defending the title with pride and honor that it deserves. So that's why I'm reinstating the US Open Challenge next week. Oh, you angry, crowd? Well, I would never defend the title in front of a bunch of hicks in Richmond, Virginia. GP.
Great as always, of course.
So AJ comes out, and Kevin's like, stop the stupid music. And he's like, you better be out here to congratulate me. He goes, nope, I'm not here for that. I'm here for my rematch. And Kevin's like, I'm not defending my title tonight, whether it be you or anybody. Oh, shit, here comes Jericho. And Kevin's like, what are you doing here? And just like, quiet, quiet. He keeps doing the stuff, and it's just quiet all the time. You know, this isn't Montreal, this is America. I'm sick of hearing you yapping. The last time I was here on Smackdown, I left on a stretcher thanks to you, but I'm back, baby. And I'm back for my rematch. And AJ says, look, a lot's changed since you were gone. The next guy in line's me and says, trying to jump ahead of me in the line? You know what happens to a guy that cuts in line ahead of you? And AJ goes, wow, I guess you must have put him on the list. And Jericho goes, no! I kicked the guy at the supermarket and put him in the walls of Jericho in aisle 7. AJ? You just made the list! And Kevin's walking off, trying to go to the back. And Jericho's like, hey, stupid idiot, where you going? Then here comes Shane on the stage and says, look, Chris, AJ, you both rightfully have calls for a rematch for the US title. Now, the thing is, I like that. So both of you will get your opportunity. Both of you actually will be getting your opportunity at the same time because the US title will be defended in a triple threat match. But ain't going to happen at Mania. It ain't even going to happen at SummerSlam. It's happening tonight. Kevin is livid at this. Absolutely pissed. So now we get Nakamura versus Corbin. Shock horror, this was actually better than the pay-per-view match. Nakamura winning with Kinshasa. But yeah, it was overall just like, my God. Nakamura, I guess Nakamura delivers for television when people might be watching. Take that, pay-per-view. So then Naomi's in the interview area, asked about Natalia and how she refused to shake her hand after her win. And Naomi's like, I won't be disrespected. And Natalia goes, yeah, disrespect? You've tarnished everything about that belt. You've made it into a child's toy. You're destroying all the legacy of families like the Harts, and I'll win that title at SummerSlam and change it back. And Naomi goes, look, you're just stuck in the dungeon of the past. I'm not tarnishing the belt. I earned it and just added a little bit of myself to it. You'll be blinded by the glow. And Carmella goes in going, I got a briefcase. So then the tag match that nobody wanted, Charlotte and Becky versus Lana and Tamina. So it looks as if Tamina's got it won, even though it's obviously technically 2-on-1. Except Lana decides to blind tag in. Charlotte kicks Tamina off the apron, hits Lana with a running boot, and Charlotte and Becky win. They seem to be happy with each other and everything, and Tamina's yelling at Lana. Lana's not happy that they lost, and it's like, wow. So the ones that are supposed to be a unit aren't, and the ones that aren't are. Eh? Then here comes Jinder. He crushed the legacy of Orton, and the legacy of the Monday Mirage has been born. Randy underestimated me, just like all of you. I will stay champ as long as I desire. And I now demand to know who I'll be facing at SummerSlam. Whose hopes will I be crushing? Here comes Cena. Except Jinder goes, I wasn't finished. I know what you'll say. I don't deserve to represent the billion people of India. I didn't deserve to win with the help of the Singhs and the great Khali. And Cena goes, look, you might be a Maharaja, but as a mind reader, you're sort of horrible. I came out here to congratulate you. I respect that you're in the best shape of your life and that the title means so much to you that you're willing to do anything. Not a moral shakedown, it's congratulations. But it's also a heads up. You may recognize my voice from pistachio commercials, but I'm Cena. And I don't care if you've got a giant or a cast of merry men or whatever. Because at SummerSlam, you're facing Super Cena. And I'll be walking out of SummerSlam 17-time champion. So here comes Daniel Bryan and says, look, congrats to both of you on winning at Battleground. And look, I know, John, you're on a quest to make history, but you don't make the matches. Me and Shane do. You got to earn your opportunities, even with your name being Jay Cena. So next week, you're facing Shinsuke Nakamura. The winner faces Jinder at SummerSlam.
This is a mistake.
We are giving away a pay-per-view quality match like Shinsuke and Cena on free television.
That's a WrestleMania main event.
That's a SummerSlam main event. That is a SummerSlam main event. If anything.
Could be.
Well, it certainly deserves to main event a pay-per-view. Right. Certainly one of the big four.
Yeah, I was thinking it fits the Royal Rumble as well.
Not the August 1st edition of Smackdown. Is there even anything on Tuesday that it's going up against? Hence why they're doing that. I can't think. Are they really that concerned about Dana's championship fights thing on Tuesday night or something?
They're worried about ratings. And it's funny because if you look at the ratings for this week's SmackDown that you're actually talking about right now, it actually went down.
What if it go further down?
Proof positive
Next
that
week.
they need to get WWE off television and just leave it on the network exclusively.
So Shane's on the phone backstage. Kevin comes in and says, "Look, I know you don't like me and you don't want me to be the champ. Now, I put Jericho on a stretcher the last time we met, and AJ's bitter that he didn't win. It's not fair that I can lose the title without being pinned." And Shane is just like, "Look, you made it personal. I don't care whoever the champ is as long as it's on SmackDown." And Owens is like, "I don't care about the fans. I don't even give a damn about you if you weren't the commissioner." So I think we're building to Shane getting into a match again.
Yeah, we're building to Shane and Owens at SummerSlam, and I don't know what I think about that.
Well, we had our concerns about Shane and AJ, and that actually delivered. So
Yeah, but this is an interesting concept.
mm-hmm.
We'll see how well it gets over.
So Zayn and Dillinger versus Kanellis and English. Okay.
I like everybody in this match.
Yeah, but it was still an okay match.
Yeah, sadly.
It sort of did feel like, okay, we're just randomly putting people together because of the pay-per-view.
And Mike Bennett loses again.
Well, yeah, Dillinger kicks Aiden off the ring, and Zayn hits the haluva kick on Mike to get the win.
Yep.
So New Day do their Richmond, don't you dare be sour, and then start coming out, but then get attacked by the Usos. Xavier gets slammed in the stage. Kofi gets thrown into the Tron. Big E comes out, super kicked, and then they double super kick him because, I think they're part of the Uso club. And then the officials come out and stop the Usos. So Renee's interviewing Nakamura, asked about his match with Cena, and Nakamura says, "Next week, John Cena, you can't see me, which means I'll see Jinder at SummerSlam." What? Who got it? Who told him to say that shit?
The Wonderful Riders of SmackDown.
I hope that wonderful was in giant inverted commas the size of bloody Great Carly.
My sarcasm levels were like outstanding right there when I said that.
And then Owens versus AJ versus Jericho. Holy shit, this was great.
I mean, in other news, water is wet.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit. They gave it a long time to build, but they didn't give it as long as they could have.
True. But I did like the way with the finish. Because Owens hits a frog splash on Jericho. As he's about to go for the pin, though, AJ throws Kevin out to the floor. Styles pins Jericho. Gets the 3 count. And AJ's your new champion without Kevin having even been pinned.
Perfect.
But again, why the shit did what happened on Sunday happen?
I can't answer that. I don't know why.
Was it actually the betting?
Sometimes I really think they do that stuff just to mess with the betting.
So afterwards, Kevin destroys the announce table, throws a steel chair at the ring. Everybody's gone. And Kevin says, "Shut up. Listen to me. This isn't fair. It's not fair that Jericho's here. It's not fair that Shane forced me to defend the title in a triple threat. It ain't fair that AJ stole my win. It ain't fair that you dislike me because you'll never be as good as me. I'll get my rematch next week, and when that happens, whether you like it or you don't like it, I'm taking my US title back." Yay! Kevin opens and closes the show. The true face of this company. Fuck Cena. Fuck Nakamura. Fuck Jinder. Fuck Orton. Fuck all of them. All
Kevin
hail
Owens.
Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
All hail Kevin. So straight after that, we get into 205 Live. So we start with Neville being interviewed and ask about what happened with Daivari as they replay what happened on Raw. And Neville's just like, Daivari made a critical error last night. I was missing for a week. Because I was missing for a week, did he actually, do I think that my kingdom's vulnerable to a hostile takeover? 205 Live is my world and will forever be my world. Hi, Jeff. Last week, Daivari fared very well, and that's because I allowed it. This week it'll be different. See the difference between picking apart an injured animal like Tozawa and standing toe-to-toe with the undisputable king of the cruiserweights. So Tozawa comes on commentary for 205 Live, actually. Daivari comes out speaking in Farsi and says, I would welcome you to the show, but what are you doing here, Tozawa? Trying to get sympathy for your injury? Trying to beg Neville for a title match? The only person that deserves a title shot is me. Neville, the so-called king. After I win tonight, I will dedicate my victory to Abdullah Muhammad. Future generations will remember when the hero defeated the great Neville. Future generations will dedicate their victories to me. I think Abdullah Muhammad is the actual king of Saudi Arabia. I think. Then again, I might be saying the name wrong. It says Abdullah Motherhead.
I have no idea.
Anyway, Daivari and Neville, not too bad actually, pretty good. The key thing to note is that by the end, Neville drags Daivari in front of Tozawa, throws him into the announce table. Tozawa just gets up. Daivari pushes Neville into Tozawa. Daivari gets back in the ring. So Daivari wins by count out because Neville couldn't make it back in time. And afterwards, Neville wants Tozawa to come to the ring. Tozawa does. And the officials stop him. So nothing can happen. So then they recap last week's 2 out of 3 falls match between Ali and Gulak for some reason. So here comes Kendrick. And Brian's out and he says, look, I tried to help you people. I tried to teach you. But what thanks do I get? I get attacked. I get snarky treats. I tried to keep drilling it into your skulls, all the difference between fighters like me and clowns like Gallagher, but you don't listen. You ignoring me? Or you're too ignorant to understand me? I guess you need pictures to understand. So we get on the trot. Here's a photo of Jack Gallagher. Look at him. Does he look like a fighter to you? He fights for all of you, apparently. If you love him so much, have you taken a hard, good look at his face and seen how pasty white he is? Sheamus is about to rip Brian Kendrick a new arsehole. Now, does it look like a fighter? You love that curly mustache, but have you ever looked at the hair on his head? Look, he's looking like a clown. Still make him a fighter to you? What about that ridiculous suit and tie that he wears? If you overlook that, I guess, can overlook the suit and tie because you're distracted by his nose. You trying to say he's Jewish? Don't say that in front of Triple H. So Gallagher shows up and says, look, last week I chose to turn the other cheek when you ran your mouth. Because after you vented your insecurities about yourself, we could get past this. Evidently, taking the high road isn't going to be an option. So how about I knock your bloody head off? And Jack runs into the ring. Brian runs out the ring. And we get nothing. Then it's Swan and Cedric. And Swan's asked why he picked Cedric. And he said, look, after I ripped him to shreds in the I Quit match, Cedric says that, basically he was impressed by him. And Cedric says, look, I came for competition. And when Swan asked, it's a no-brainer. So then Nice and TJ come in and says, look, when Tony was named as the partner, I thought Swan had cancelled the match. Nice says it's a participation medal for him. And Swan says it's friendly competition. And Cedric says, you got some issues with some trash talk? And then TJ's music hit, so I guess we're already going. They have a pretty good match as well. Shame there's only 2 matches, but there you go. They give it a bit of time. But yeah, the referee Perkins basically, I mean, there's a nice bit. So Nice sends Swan into the announce table, and Perkins hits a double knee gut buster. So the referee stops the count outside with Swan being the legal man. And the referee's checking on TJ, but Nice pushes Alexander off the turnbuckle as I guess he's going for a spot, and Perkins covers Alexander, and the heels possibly win. So apart from the opening bit, average, yay!
Well, I got a question from Timbo in chat asking me if you got a chance to watch Smack and Talk.
I mean, it was short, but I was one of the 30,000 likes. I'll give you that. Because, I want to see that show back. Because, you've got to have good original programming on the network, not Battleground.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting what they did, because obviously it was supposed to be a whole parody thing. Because it was like, oh my God, I'm actually, Daniel Bryan going, I'm actually your father, Chad Gable. I've got the letter, and it's clearly just some guy that's gone with a felt tip and gone, paternity test, official. And then on the paper it says, you are the father. And like Renee and Daniel are loving it. And Gable's just like, you're my dad. You're 5 years older than me. And, Brian's like, look, I was a very virile 5-year-old. But then he was just like pissed. Gable was pissed at like all this antics. Because he's clearly feeling, not treated right. Because obviously he hasn't been on for weeks, and Jordan's, daddy's boy on Raw, as it seems. So there's enough of a little twinge there to make me go, yeah, why wasn't this on the network? That would have been fucking awesome. Plus, you could have had some explanation for the Usos doing whatever the fuck they did. Stuff with perhaps Natalia or Naomi, considering that died. And, building up to other feuds that are coming up in only 4 weeks. Because if this is a 4-hour show, there needs to be storylines on SmackDown that need to start rolling now so they make sense when we get to SummerSlam. Hell, you could have had an interview with Cena if you wanted.
Yeah.
If you said, by the way, on Talking Smack, exclusive interview with John Cena and, his full-on reaction to going one-on-one with Nakamura next week, people would have gone because it's Cena. Again, if we're using this time to record more Southpaw Regional Wrestling, fuck Talking Smack. I want season 2, damn it.
Oh, it's coming. We don't know exactly when, but it's coming. And with the promotional
KFC is sponsoring SummerSlam.
Yep.
Oh my God, I'm begging.
That's going to happen.
Big.
So that moves us over into the world of GFW Impact.
So we open up pretty much. There's a video package with the whole LAX and Alberto and Lashley stuff, but the opening match itself, pretty much straight in. Sammy Guevara versus Drago. It should be good, but the problem is they're all doing flippy shit. There's way too much flippy shit. You know, this is the Super X Cup, so it's like, you know, X Division. This is nothing like what Sonjay and Loki have done in the past couple of months to bring the X Division back to what it is, rather than the flippy shit title. It's a shame, but it's just honest. In all honesty, Drago got the win with, I guess it's a running flip DDT.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this was the show that I had to miss because I was deathly sick. If I would have not been deathly sick, I would have been at this show because I heard about this match and I really wanted to see it. But I was not able to.
So then we get Sienna versus Amber Nova for the Knockouts title. So yeah, they did merge the belts. It wasn't. It's not. There's not two belts anymore. Which is pretty much a squash match. Nova sort of gets squashed in some extent. The finish came with Sienna going for a delayed vertical suplex, but Nova managed to Neo way out of it. So Sienna kicked her in the face and hit her with the AK-47. Because let's call it that, because screw anything else.
That's what it's called.
I'm surprised I didn't try and rename it, because it's like, well, she's not Allison Kay.
Doesn't matter. It's named after the gun, I think, is what they're saying in this case. But they've never really said that before in commentary.
So Sienna gets on the mic. You know, I did what I told everybody said that I would. You know, Rosemary's been petting bunnies and writing moody poetry. Nobody believed in me, including one person that never believed in me or even congratulated me for getting the belts, and that's Karen Jarrett. And wants Karen to go out there, because I know Karen doesn't want me to come back looking for her. So here comes Jarrett. And Sienna's just like, get down on your knees and tell me I'm the most dominant champ that's ever existed, and you better do it now. And Karen's just like, why? And it's like, it's because it's true. I told you just to. And Sienna backs Karen into the ring corner, and Ali makes a saver of kendo stick. Then Laurel shows up with a 2-on-1 beating. Then Rosemary comes in, but Laurel does her in, and they're all about the heels are about to attack the faces. And then Gail Kim runs out, taking out both Sienna and Laurel. And Karen says, look, I'll tell you something. You're defending the title against Rosemary next week. Last woman standing match, bitches. So we're back at the LAX clubhouse, and they've kidnapped Alberto's brother, El Arbo de la Escalera. So yeah, not Dos Caras shit face or whatever his name is. Because I think that's his name.
Elio Del Toscaras.
Yeah, shit face. Conan's got some hedge clippers and says, oh, I don't see Crazy Steve around here because we sent him on a Mexican vacation. Really? I thought it was called NXT. And he gets the guy to make sure to translate to tell his brother that Alberto better join LAX, or you'll find wherever he is, and Alberto will never see him again. So they let Shitface go. And I hope you do the right thing. Yeah. Never come to this company again. Please. Get better, then come back. And then we got a video package for El Hijo del Fantasma. And then Bruce Pritchard finds Trevor Lee backstage. Ask him why is he running around with the X Division title, and Trevor Lee's like, look, I never got my rematch. Then Sonjay just comes in, trying to attack Trevor and trying to get his belt back. But security holds him out, and Trevor says, look, that proves I'm a better champ. And Bruce goes, well, thanks for explaining that to me, champ. And walks off. So, six-man tag Lucha stuff, because it's Idris Abraham, Trevor Lee, and Damus versus Garza Jr., Laredo Kid, and Octagon Cito. Brief Lucha Underground match, because that's what's happening. Honest. Octagon Cito winning with a Superfly splash off Garza's shoulders onto Idris Abraham to get the win. So Joseph Park's backstage giving Grado a pep talk for the date with Laurel. And then we're at the date, and he didn't get a champagne, but he did get a load of coupons. And she takes them and says, look, it's okay. I've had champagne on my own all day. So we skip forward in the restaurant, and they're opposite ends of some really long table, and Laurel's pouring salt right in her mouth and manages to eat like giant 17 steak burger in a single bite while looking at Grado. Is like, I am trying to work out why this is funny, and I don't think there's an answer. So then they're back to LAX, and Conan says EYFBO have gone to grab the old man. So I know Alberto will listen to him. And again, he's got the Clippers. So Dos Caras Sr. has been held hostage. And Dos Caras is basically, you better tell your son to join us because something bad happens to the family. That's good. We're openly inciting murder on this show. Hey, kids, watch this. Murder! So then we get a triple threat between Loki, Matt Sydal, and El Hijo del Fantasma. The interesting thing is this match was pretty good. So it didn't deserve to be on this show because everything's been average to bad so far. Because the squash match was basically, why was it on? So yeah, Loki hits Phantasma with the Warrior's Way, goes for the cover, but Sydal manages to Sydal press Loki and get the win himself instead. So Sydal afterwards says, look, the match is world class and I earned a platform to, trust myself and question authority. And if there's any authority, namely Bruce Pritchard, because I've got a request. And Pritchard comes out with Tyrus and says, look, I like you, but I'm getting tired of everybody demanding things. And Sydal says, I'm deserving of a title match. But there's a lot of others in the back who are just as deserving. And then here comes Lashley. And Lashley's just like, this doesn't concern you. There's only one person deserving a world title shot, and that's me. When I held the belt, I had everything thrown at me, and I went for them, and I haven't got a title shot since then. Nobody wants to hear from you, Sydal. And basically, I'll destroy everything in Impact if anybody gets a title shot before me. And Seidel basically gets speared the shit out of by Lashley. And Lashley says this is just the start. So now we're back to Grado and Laurel. Oh, God, we're back to them. Doing romantic moments, but Laurel still being creepy and coming on to him. And in his self, he's going, I need the citizenship. And tries to pretend that he passed out, but Laurel lays down next to him and talks about making out in a weird demon voice. What the fuck?
I don't know who's writing this stuff.
And then we'll get back to Grado and Joseph, and Joseph says, do you think she's ready for the question? And Grado gives Joe a hug. Apparently this is continuing this coming week.
Yep.
Fuck.
I can assure you that.
Fuck. So, we're getting ready for the main event, and then the Swole mates jump over the guardrail and lay out Adonis with a clothesline during Eli Drake's entrance. Okay. So the four-way between Drake, EC3, Moose, and Eddie Edwards is, as you'd expect, pretty damn good. Moose and EC3 basically brawled on the outside, and Drake snuck in and stole a pin on Eddie, who'd been hit with the 1%er by EC3. So Drake wins. So then Mackenzie Miles is backstage with the Swole mates, but they get cut short by LAX, who forced the cameraman to follow them because they got a scoop. Because they've got Dos Caras Senior and Shitface. And it's like, we want an answer. So LAX drags both of them back out from the back, hands tied behind their back, and beating them up in the ring. Conan's telling Alberto, look, I know you're here, and you know there'll be ramifications. There won't be any legal proceedings. This is Mexican street justice. Does it involve drinks? In Orlando? I put my hands on my family, so I'm going to put my hands on yours, man. And then they beat the shit out of them more, and it's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rip your dad's mask off. And there comes Alberto. Says, look, this is too far. You've gone too far with this. Stop this nonsense. And it's like, you ready to join? And Alberto says, don't put one more finger on my father. And Conan says, look, I'll let him go, but you got to join. And Alberto says, the worst part is we were brothers. The two of us and Ray. You got something in that head of yours and you can't let it go. If you want me, let go of the family. And LAX throws him out to the floor and says, look, we used to be brothers. But you're not Carlos anymore. You're just Conan. You're a son of a bitch. And Conan says, look, I don't want a friend. I just want a soldier that can follow orders. And Alberto's just like, just swear my family will be safe. And Conan says, you just put the shirt on. Fine. So Alberto puts the shirt on, shakes Alberto's hand. And Alberto single-handedly beats the shit out of all of them. And then he's turning his attentions to Conan, the last one to go, except LAX then rush in. And Alberto destroys LAX again, and Conan runs. And Alberto rips the LAX shirt off and throws it in the crowd. And then gets a drunk spill on him. Probably.
Oh boy.
And that's GFW.
So if you were not
Average.
watching Average, it's the show I didn't get a chance to watch. Like I said, I was sick that
Good
night.
job.
I know.
Illness was better. I wish I was ill.
Well, the GFW news continues. I mentioned it on Monday's show, and I'm going to mention it again tonight. The VIP package is available for August 17th through the 20th.
Oh, Christ. Really?
Yeah, wow, I wish. $99. You're going to get the VIP credential to give your spot in line and a nightly visit between a superstar or a knockout.
They're taping head-to-head to a SummerSlam.
Yep.
Oh.
There's going to be an 11 by 17 souvenir poster. And yeah, they'll be taping. I will be in attendance for the 17th, which is going to be the live to tape edition of GFW Impact, which is going to be Destination X. I will be, if everything works out, I will be there for Friday night's tapings. Ain't no way I can do Saturday because we're doing Ring of Honor and NXT takeover on Saturday. And then I can't make Sunday because of SummerSlam. So yeah, I won't be able to be there for much. I think that was a bad idea to try to go against SummerSlam. I have no idea why they're doing this. I think they may just not have a choice. That's the only thing I can think of.
Who knows?
So another thing too, there's been a couple like conference calls the GFW have been doing lately, and have a little bit of information. Negotiations are underway with Rey Mysterio Jr., of course, about him showing up. And it sounds like he is definitely going to be coming. We all know about Johnny Mundo and Taya Valkyrie showing up on the Impact Live shows in Staten Island. The chances are they will probably show up on the Impact tapings as well. Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, may be making his way back to NXT. Wow, long day. Maybe I read the wrong thing. He'll be making his way to GFW in the near future, it looks like. So they're trying to bring him in, just like we prophesized a while back. And the one that I'm sure you're going to be very interested in, Ashley, OI4K.
Oh, God. Why are these people going there?
There's nowhere else to go.
I'm pretty sure that they make more money on the indies and actually think that OI4K are getting rid of all the bloody merch opportunities that they've got.
It's a possibility that they will be doing more house shows in the near future. So we'll see what happens with that. So that is your GFW Impact news for the week. If there's any Dave news, we'll get to that either later tonight or next week. This moves us into our next segment of the night, and we're going to be going directly from GFW to the segment's the reason why we started a couple minutes late, and that's let's talk about Lucha Underground.
I mean, you can sort of figure out what this episode is main evented by, considering the title is Booyaka Booyaka!
Yep.
Yes. Son of Havoc.
Of course.
So the first match is Mac versus Tejano. Pretty decent match. Overall, pretty good. Real good back and forth stuff, because obviously you've got the athletic style of Mac and then the somewhat physical style of Tejano, and they do sort of mix pretty well. The ending comes though with Famous B coming out for the distraction, and I guess some other person that's Hispanic looking. They came into the ring with like a squirt gun thing. And He got stunned for it. But then this distraction allowed Tejano to hit his power bomb, and Tejano progresses. Okay. They then also stress that it's 4 weeks to go until Ray versus Mundo. So again, I guess that means then there's another 10 weeks until Mundo then defends the title against whoever the winner of a tournament is. That's good. So now Son of Havoc's drowning his sorrows at the bar. Only his drink gets caught by Son of Madness, and they sort of get into a mini bar brawl. And Son of Havoc's like, I don't want back in. I don't want to come back. And Son of Madness like, you've got to come back. You're part of the group. You're part of the family. It was like the invisible coach or something. It's like, well, they can't be invisible coach. You've got them on your fucking backs. So whatever that was about. And then the Rabbit Tribe are messing about. They're actually playing checkers on the guy that's got the checkerboard bloody lycra suit over his entire body. And here comes Masquerita Sagrada with a giant present. And they're like, we failed you. We're all out the tournament. And it's like, the present's for us? It must be a sign. And they open first they go to the card and read that, which says, I hope this brings you good luck. And they open the present, and there's what do they call the styrofoam things for packing?
Packing peanuts.
Packing peanuts. There's packing peanuts, and there's packing peanuts, and there's packing peanuts, and there's packing peanuts, and there's some sort of maybe balloons, and there's packing peanuts. And then in this box that's probably about as big as, I don't know, as big as a flat screen television, out comes this tiny rabbit's foot about the size of your thumb. And they're just like, oh, it's a sign. So now we get the final match of the second round of the Cueto Cup, Drago versus Pentagon Dark. Man, this match shouldn't have been this good. Oh, wait, it actually was. Just really good stuff from both guys. You've got the storyline, obviously, of Penta and his nefarious means, and Drago being controlled by Cobra Moon and everything. Penta eventually gets the win with a package pile driver. So he's about to go for the arm break, but then Cobra comes in to make the save. Super kick! And he's about to go at it, but then Aerostar throws out Penta and gets Drago up and shakes his hand, saying, come on, man, we're brothers. And Drago promptly kicks him and lays him out and leaves the ring. Penta comes back in and instead breaks the arm of Aerostar. You sick fuck. So then after that, we got Penta backstage, I guess, walking to the back, and Katrina mysteriously shows up and says, Mill remembers what happened to him. And they showed the replay, I think, from Ultima Lucha. No. What do they call it? Aztec Warfare 2? When Penta cost Mill the title that he was defending, from what I remember. And so it's like, we'll remember, and we're on the same side of the bracket, so he'll be progressing through no matter what. But if you do, prepare to die. And he's like sort of going in her face, Sierra Miedo, but she disappears and appears behind him and says, be ready for a beating. and then she just disappears. So I don't know why we needed it twice, but there you go. And then the main event, PJ Black versus Rey Mysterio. I have to say this was good. It wasn't as great as it should have been because by the end, we had the obligatory ref bump, and bloody Mundo got involved, and Jack Evans got involved. Dragon tried to make the save, but Taya tackled him. So then Mundo drags PJ over. 1, 2. Holy shit, he kicked out. And pretty much soon after, connects with a 619 and the splash and gets the win. And Ray gets on the mic, mixed Spanish as well as English. Basically says, look, it's not PJ's fault. It's nothing to, it's not, this isn't your fight. It's between me and that devious man, Mundo. And Mundo needs to stop running, because come 4 weeks' time, it's not going to be me that's making history. It's going to be all the people making history. And bagel bites! And if you're expecting to be continued, apparently they don't like doing that anymore because they're talking smack. Fuck you, Lucha. Even though, pretty solid show with three good to great matches. And the crazy shit with the back-in pellets. Shit! God damn it, Pyro.
Yeah, sorry.
I know you can't control it, but it's like, Jesus Christ, the timing.
The best part is when we're talking about something solemn, and the next thing you know, there you go.
Yeah. Got to announce the passing of insert name here. God damn it, Disney, you've ruined it. Could have.
Well, not Disney, but Universal, but still.
They're probably all letting off fireworks now.
This is summertime. Actually, there's shows about to start across town. So, yes. So we're going to be talking now about another set of letters, and that would be WCPW.
So there ain't much that I can cover on this because I know what's happened in terms of the Pro Wrestling World Cup, but I won't disclose what it is because we've still got to wait for that to be airing. Then again, because of another announcement that they made, I've got a feeling we're going to find out that, because I don't know whether the announcement's been made yet, but I would not be surprised if at some point over this weekend, both shows were broadcast on YouTube for free.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
I should probably go and check. WCPW. I know there was some announcement, but not the other stuff. No, that's just other stuff. I'm looking for the What Culture channel. No, I don't want What Culture Extra. Culture Wrestling. See if it's on there because, they can be weird like that. No, they haven't. Only thing is, I say that it is because next week, Loaded's back.
Yep.
After a hiatus of a couple of months. Basically, because I think they were trying to make sure that they had good enough material and they had the right editors and everything. Which, considering now that they have, I think, like 5 Adams, including Plumpy, they hire way too many Adams. So Loaded, it's an interesting schedule for Loaded. I know that they're going to be having matches at least on the first few episodes, coming from the Japan shows, the USA shows, and the rest of the world shows for the Pro Wrestling World Cup. And possibly other stuff that never got shown, I don't even know. Perhaps even some of the I can't even remember whether they showed everything off the German show. Can't remember. But either way, Loaded comes on a very interesting schedule. They'll obviously be taking a week off for the week of the Pro Wrestling World Cup Finals when that's on, over the Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. But starting next week, August 3rd, on a Thursday, and it'll be also on the 10th, and 10th, 17th as well, I think, and then the week after, so going into September. Thursdays at 8 p.m. You'll be able to watch the show on What Culture Extra if you're a subscriber. Then, interestingly, at 8 p.m. on Fridays, this is all UK time, by the way, WCPW Loaded will be debuting first for free on Twitch.
Wow.
And then will be uploaded or broadcast live on YouTube on the Saturday. So basically, What Culture gets it Thursdays, Twitch gets it Fridays, YouTube gets it the Saturday. I believe the idea is I think the Loaded stuff will... I don't know whether it's being uploaded in full on YouTube or whether they're putting it behind the paywall again and will be showing glimpses. I'm not sure. They have clarified because people thought, oh, this means that the stuff on the videos is sorted. They have clarified that they are still having the issues with the monetization, so they're just doing it, I guess, because they can and they've got the material to, and they're just trying to work with what they've got. Because there's quite a bit, there's quite some eventful stuff that has happened on those dark matches, which were basically loaded taping matches. So we'll see what happens. So we'll be getting back into covering loadeds every week, I guess, starting in 2 weeks' time.
Alrighty.
Probably.
WCPW moves on to the world of the UFC.
So once again, we don't even start with the UFC. Well, I guess we do. Because basically today or yesterday, John Jones basically said, look, if the plan came forward and Lesnar wanted to fight me, I'd be willing to move up to heavyweight and have a one-off fight for us, like a super fight thing. Brock, in response, said, would I fight John Jones? Anytime, anywhere. But right now, he should be more worried about Daniel on Saturday night. So I guess that's a thing. It looks like it'll either be Jones or Stipe Miocic as the sort of favorite contenders. So basically, he could be in action by the end of the year, but probably more likely will be early next year. So the question is, how long does he want to stay in wrestling regarding that situation? In the other news and stuff, John Jones has stated that Cormier knows that he wouldn't use steroids and called the comments that Cormier made, basically calling him a steroid user, as an attack on his character. I know they did an interview and Jones was just pissed to be there. So I don't know what side the bed he got out of that day, but he was angry. That's all I know. Dana apparently hasn't talked with Jones since the UFC 200 no-show due to the suspension. Mayweather's apparently going to destroy Conor McGregor, according to Mike Tyson as well. UFC's announced a new multi-year global licensing deal with Daiko International, which starting next year will developing UFC equipment, including official fight gloves that all athletes will be required to use in competition, as well as training mats, resistant bands, weightlifting belts, push-up bars, Olympic weights, free weights, kettlebells, and speed bags. The showcase of that lineup will be the last weekend in January over in Munich. So yeah, again, whether they like it or not, UFC athletes will have to wear the Daiko gloves, even if they're shipped to them. Another one of them situations, apparently. Ratings for the Fox show, which we'll get to in a minute, were apparently absolutely shit, because they were the lowest of them all, only averaging 1.6 more for the 8 to 10 time slot. So yeah, it tells you that a lot of people really didn't care about the show in terms of viewership. So that interview that I was talking about, that they were both via satellite and talking smack at each other with Jones looking pissed. They also noted that Cormier looked a little heavy for a guy that's supposed to be 205 in 6 days. Bearing in mind that Cormier only just about made weight in his last fight. Apparently Conor McGregor's completed the community service requirements that he had for that bottle throwing crap at 202. The tickets went on sale for the McGregor-Mayweather fight as well this week. I think tickets start at about $300 for the cheap seats, ranging to about $7,000 in the region of. I think it's more than that for front row stuff. So they have also Aaron Pico in his MMA debut in Bellator, who was hyped and everything, and it's like he's going to be good, that got knocked out in 24 seconds. He'll be having his second fight on the show that they've got in September 23rd in San Jose. I think that's one of the ones that I'm paying attention to. The injury that Robert Whittaker got in the fight against Yoel Romero last week. He got it in the first round and fought all 5 rounds on it. Apparently, it was a severe grade 2 medial injury. So clearly, it wasn't enough to put him out of action, certainly. Nick Hein versus the debuting Zach Mackerschmidt has been added to the September 2nd show in Rotterdam, Holland. Along with Jim, I think, hang on, let me go to the notes from today. They've, I think, just added Jermaine de Rondemay will be on that card as well, fighting. Yeah. She's not having hand surgery, so she's fighting Marion Renault instead because she wanted to fight in Holland. So much for her being injured and, wanting to defend the belt. She's just fighting a month later, still injured, but fighting. So I think we realize that basically nobody wants to face Cyborg. Funny how I mentioned that, considering what's coming up later. The CEO of Combate Americas has confirmed that Alberto is stepping down from the company to apparently fully concentrate on his pro wrestling career. I don't know. It might have been because of the other situations that he's been involved with recently and allegations and God knows what. So they have announced some of the big shows for the September events. So 215 on September 9th in Edmonton, Alberta. The main event will be Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Borg for Demetrius's flyweight belt. And the co-main will be Nunes versus Shevchenko for delayed bout from a few weeks back for the bantamweight title. We've also got Dos Santos versus Ngannou, Melendez versus Stevens, among others. Tickets go on sale on Friday to the public. But people that are in the Fight Club already have pre-sale, early access or whatever. Tickets range from about $60 to about $380-ish. So not cheap. And they've also announced for the show in Pittsburgh happening the week after on September the 16th, they've announced some of the big matches for that. It seems to be headlined by Luke Rockhold versus David Branch. I think this is a fight night one. Along with Uriah Hall versus Christoph Jotko, Hector Lombard versus Anthony Smith, and Kamaru Usman versus Sergio Moraes. There's a few other matches on the card, but I'll go through them when we get to them in a month or so, I guess, with that. And then quickly running through the stuff from today in terms of news. Oh yes, at the press conference today for UFC 214, Dana's confirmed that the Tyron Woodley-Damian Maia match is happening. Whoever wins it will defend the welterweight title against George St. Pierre. So George is moving up a weight. He doesn't want to deal with Bisping. That's annoying. Which is a shame. Apparently there was more smack talk between Jones and Cormier. Jones said that Cormier looked like a crackhead, and Cormier said, well, Jones is a crackhead. Jesus. Cormier also says that he's 215 as of this afternoon, so he's got 10 more to cut for the fight. USADA have said that Conor and Floyd will be drug tested robustly leading up to their boxing match. Oh, and also Neil Magny versus Rafael Dos Anjos has been added to the UFC 215 card up in Edmonton. Yes, that happened today. And also the Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sport approved new weight classes for the MMA group, or the MMA sport, I guess, at 165, 175, 195, and 225. So expect 4 more belts for UFC because they're desperate. Jesus. So, results from last week's stuff. The UFC on Fox show. It's not too bad a show, even though nobody watched it. I'll go through the main card only, considering apparently it did that badly in the viewership. Jimmy Rivera beat Thomas Almeida via unanimous decision in the bantamweights. In the light heavyweights, Patrick Cummings beat Gian Vellante on split decision. 29-28 across all the cards, so basically it was 2-1 in favor of Cummins. In the featherweights, Darren Elkins beat Dennis Bermudez via split decision. Again, it was 29-28 across all three, 2-1 in favor of Elkins. And then the main event, Chris Weidman, I guess somewhat of the underdog, you could say, beat Kevin Gastelum with a arm triangle choke relatively late on in the third round. It's worth noting that none of the matches on the main card got the bonuses. So on the prelims, the main event of the prelims with Alessio Zaleski beating, Alessio Zaleski dos Santos beating Lyman Good via split decision, which was weird because 2 of the judges gave it 30-27 to Zaleski, but the other one gave it 28-29 to Good. So I don't know what happened there, but either way, that fight got both Zaleski and Good $50,000 each. And then performance of the night, Alex Oliveira, his KO punch in the second round, beating Ryan LaFleur, got him $50,000. And then on the Fight Pass prelims, one of the people that wasn't deemed worthy enough to be on television, Junior Albini got $50,000 for his TKO midway through the first against Timothy Johnson. Also worth noting, though, on the prelims, Eric Anders came in as a promotional newcomer on only, I think, 2 weeks' notice to take on Rafael Natal. He beat him via knockout in just under 3 minutes. So congrats to him on that respect, for sure. In terms of the Tuesday night fight stuff, there was one problem. We had 2 TKOs due to injury. Alonzo Meinfeld beat Daniel Jolly thanks to an eye injury sustained at the end of the first round. And then there was a ankle injury midway through the second, well, sorry, not even midway, like 21 seconds into the second round, which saw Carl Stewart beat Jason Jackson. Obviously, both were a little disappointed about the manner that they won, but, you know, a win's a win. You won't be surprised that they didn't get contracts. Dan Ige beat Luis Raul Gomez with a rear naked choke submission late on in the third. Pretty close. And then the matches with your 2 winners, or your 2 contract guys. Jeffrey Neal beat Chase Walden in 2 minutes via TKO. And then Carl Robertson beat Ryan Spann in 15 seconds via knockout. That's nearly up there for being the fastest knockout in UFC history. If it counts as a UFC event. I don't know. But that was over quick. So, yeah, both Robertson and Neal got UFC contracts. There's another set of matches coming up this Tuesday, sorry. But that isn't the big one, because obviously the big one actually is UFC 214. Coming from Anaheim, California, at the Honda Center. So I'll go through all the card with this because it's somewhat short. We've got 3 prelim fights on Fight Pass. A lightweight bout with Josh Berkman versus Drew Dober. A flyweight bout with Eric Shelton taking on Jared Brooks. And then main eventing with the women's strawweight division as Kalin Karan takes on Alexandra Albu. So then the prelims this time are going to be on FXX. So I don't know what Fox Sports 1 is showing. But it's on FXX instead. The prelims are featherweight heavy. Sorry, featherweight Harry. Featherweight it's a fucking tongue twister. Featherweight heavy. Yes. We got Andre Phil versus Calvin Kattar and Brian Ortega versus Renato Moicano. Then a catchweight bout because I believe. Hang on, let me go to the UFC 214 Wikipedia page to get the notes on this because it's been recently. Yeah, the California State Athletic Commission back at the end of June denied Barao a bout at the bantamweight weight class due to his previous weight issues at UFC 177. So instead, it's going to be a catchweight bout with a catchweight of 140 pounds. But the commission has basically said if there's no issues with making the weight of 135 for it, they may allow him to fight in California at 135 again. So that's complicated. And then finally, a featherweight bout to main event the FXX card with Ricardo Lamas versus Jason Knight. And then your main card, pretty big from top to bottom, in all honesty. Jimmy Manoa in the light heavyweights opens up against Volkan Ozdemir. Next up in the welterweights, Robbie Lawler takes on Donald the Cowboy Cerrone. And then 3 title fights. First up, the vacant UFC Women's Featherweight title with Christine Cyborg Justino versus Tonya Evinger. If Cyborg doesn't win that, I'd be amazed. I think even Owen, even though he doesn't know about UFC, would say that Cyborg's going to win.
From what I've heard about her, I'd say it's probably a good bet.
Which means Tonya will win and everyone will go, what the fuck? Then for the welterweight title, Tyron Woodley defends against Damian Maia. And as I previously mentioned, we now know that whoever wins that gets GSP. So I'm guessing GSP is going to be at the event more than likely. And then the main event, Cormier defending the light heavyweight title against Jones. Hopefully. I'm looking forward to Friday because that weigh-in could be interesting. If if Burrell's missed even the catch weight, that'll be embarrassing. If Jones gets bloody drug tested or shit again, that'll be embarrassing. If Cormier misses weight, that'll be embarrassing. Who knows? I report all this as if it happens. The next 48 hours could have a shit ton of crazy shit. That's all I'm saying. If we're going on the reputation of UFC this year, and also the people that are on this card, everything that I'm saying is subject to confirmation. And that's the UFC stuff for this week.
Well, UFC takes us into another set of 3 initials, and that means it's time for NXT.
Oh, good. I can go get my dinner because apparently this show was lame, sort of, until the end.
Yeah, one and done. If you blink, you missed it. Ember Moon taking on your favorite, Lady Tapa.
Lady Tapas?
Yes.
No! I'm dropping bottles all over the floor. Fuck!
Ember ends up hitting a tornado into a snap suplex. She ends up hitting the Eclipse, and it looked like Tapa didn't really take it the right way, and she looked like she got messed up. Accidents happen. So Ember gets on the mic. She demands Asuka take over Brooklyn. And she's like, I know you want competition, but are you really ready for Ember Moon? Sweet video package on Aleister Black. And then we get David Ramos and Timothy Bumpers, your JTTS this week. Jobber to the Stars. Ashley will be playing his Jobber Alert horn right now if he had it handy. And then all of a sudden, they're facing off against the Authors of Pain. Great. Before they can come to the ring, they're stopped by Nikki Cross, and this allows for Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane to jump the Jobbers and toss them from the ring. So they fought, and Authors got the upper hand. They took out Alexander Wolf. They took out Killian Dane. And Nikki stops Dane from getting back in. And Wolf is laughing at the Authors from his seat. I mean, I think I've decided that the Authors of Pain, we've already said before, that they're basically the pretty boy killers, but not Then you've got Sanity, who might as well, for all intents and purposes, be War Machine. So, yeah, it feels very Ring of Honor-ish when they actually battle. We get a vignette for the Street Profits. Feels like a Snapchat video brought to life. I swear to you, if this was still a couple years ago, this would have been a tout video. We recap what happened with Cesar Bononi defeating Andrade Cien Almas. And then Almas returns with Taya Trinidad, which is now known as Zelina. WWE not knowing. That's all I have to say.
Probably.
Actually think her name is, I have this because I'm trying to find it. Her full name now is actually Zolita Vega. So yay, thank you recapper for not knowing. You put them together. Yeah, close enough.
Rosita, yeah.
Yeah, so jump Cesar, No Way Jose runs him away, and then No Way Jose arrives to Full Sail, and he is basically confronted by Taya Trinidad. It's like, I'll give you props for intervening, but you got in the wrong business with the wrong person. You've lit a fire under Cien Almas that you're not going to be able to dance around. So Cesar Bononi gets to face off against the Velveteen Dream. So Cesar, okay, here's the thing. From watching back, it looks like Cesar hit a Michinoku driver, but he could have done a really raw deal, to be totally honest. That means he did it badly.
Slightly.
Yes. So, of course, Velveteen Dream wins with a rolling Spicoli driver and goes to the top rope and hits the Purple Rainmaker and gets the win. I like the rolling Spicoli driver. It's not enough people use it. Velveteen Dream is on top of the stage. He gets interviewed about his goals. And, of course, this doesn't go over very well. He refuses to be interviewed again because he's in front of the ugly NXT universe. William Regal is basically in the back and is asked about Ember Moon's challenge to Asuka. And Regal's like, let's do this. So it's official. Here comes Drew McIntyre with a rally promo, of course. Thanks to the people that have been along with the ride for the beginning. He says he's only going to go forward, but now he's going to talk about his past first. He mentions the Chosen One, and he says instead of thinking everyone that everything was owed to him, he's learned you must work for everything. He said he's the hardest worker in the world. Everyone in NXT is an equal with the exception of Bobby Roode because he's entitled. It's not Roode's NXT, it's the people's NXT. You're not NXT, he chants with the crowd. We are NXT. So, Aleister Black video, really hyping him up this week. He gets another one. Bobby Roode will respond to Drew McIntyre and his diatribe from this week next week. Johnny Gargano is back in action, and he's going one-on-one against Raul Mendoza. If I'm pretty sure, unless he's done tag matches, this is the first time he's done anything that wasn't a house show. He said he's been training just as hard as Johnny, and maybe next week's about him and not Johnny's return. Main event time, Kenta versus Chris Hero. Hideo Itami versus Cassius Ohno. Great stuff here, but they didn't give it enough time. I'm sure you're not surprised. They gave this match about 7.5 minutes. Itami basically hits the tornado hot shot, and he comes off the top. Ohno nails it with a chop, and hits a cyclone kick after the Shining Wizard. Huge Dick Togo style senton for a near fall. Itami gets the upper hand, goes for GTS. Ohno escapes, but he eats a forearm, and Ohno ends up getting another boot to stop Hideo right in his tracks. He goes for the rolling elbow, and Itami kicks him in the nuts. DQ. What is with the fascination of anything on the WWE programming ending with kicks to the nuts? I swear to you, Vince McMahon, because obviously we know he's very out of touch. That's what everybody says. Somebody showed Vince McMahon the video from God knows how long about the guy in the clown wig that runs up to people randomly, kicks them in the nuts, and helps them up by saying, my friend, give me kicks in the nuts. And Vince is like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever. Let's watch everybody get kicks in the nuts. And that's exactly what's going down now. I thought that reference made sense, at least in my head. Oh no, wins by Hey, it's 10:30. Oh no, wins by DQ, and Tommy lays him out with 2 go to sleeps, and then he hits one on the ring steps. So this is far from over between these two. Serviceable match, but it wasn't long enough. So, yes, we move on now to our next segment. Yes, it's time for Ring of Honor. Big show this weekend coming up.
Well, more TV tapings, certainly.
Yep.
But before that, we need to get this week's past TV stuff.
And then I'll bring up the card for the show this weekend.
So the Bullet Club of Paige and the Bucks come to the ring. And Matt gets a mic and says, "Look, there's no challenges for the tag belt, so we're going to challenge Dalton and the boys for the 6-man belts because we can." And then here comes Marty, who's going to be in the first match of the night. So it's Marty versus Vinny Marsaglia versus Josh Woods versus Will Ferreira versus El Terrible versus Frankie Kazarian. Really good match, especially with the 6 that you've got. All get a really good chance to shine, but eventually, so Kazarian shows his colors, hitting a cutter on Vinny, but Skull steals the pin. So you basically, it was a decent match, but the whole idea is Marty's heel, in case you didn't know.
Right.
But obviously Kazarian could be Kazarian's sort of heel as well, at least at the minute. Also, it's worth noting that during the match, Shane Taylor came out and destroyed Josh Woods. So, spoilers, that might be happening next week. But, pretty good match. So now it's the Beer City Bruiser versus Brian Malonas. So basically, Brian Malonas is a large guy. Beer City Bruiser is a large guy. It makes sense. Bruiser won with a frog splash, and then Silas updated his sign afterwards saying it's 29 days since we saw Lethal. So I don't know whether it's next week or the week after, but the Women of Honor special is coming. Part of me wonders whether it's coming the week of the show on Saturday, that's the pay-per-view.
It's possible.
They're covering shit up.
Very possible.
And then finally, Kushida versus Jay White. This match was great. Worth noting that the color commentator, along with Ian Riccoboni, this time was Rico Della Vega. And Rico was doing a lot of sort of description of his own experience of having an injured shoulder and how it affected him. So that added to the thing. But yeah, Kushida put the hoverboard lock on the second rope, arm dragged White out to the apron, further locking on the move. But White was nearly about to escape as well, which made it really good. But Kushida transitioned it into a front face lock, Back to the Future. And Kushida retains. But then Kenny King came down to the ring afterwards and extended his hand to Kushida, who seemed a little wary, but then went to do so. King then grabbed the belt, shined it up, and indicated that he wants the belt. good matches all about. And, Woods is now in a program. Kushida looks to be in a program. Marty seems to be in a program. Who gives a shit about Silas and this Jay Lethal shit? I'm still waiting for the bit where somebody's shouting, "It's been one day." I think they might be editing that out, which is a shame. But there you go.
So let me do this because I don't really get to talk much on the Wednesday show since I'm the hype man after all here. This Saturday night, Cabarrus Arena, Concord, North Carolina, television tapings for Ring of Honor. This is Queen City Excellence.
Mm-hmm.
We have your current reigning and defending Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody, teaming up with Hangman Page and the birthday boy himself, the villain, Marty Scurll, taking on a Bully Ray and the Briscoes. Does not list if that's for the tag belts, though.
How can it be?
That's right, they dropped the 6-man belts.
Dalton and the boys.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. Speaking of action, you also have the World Television title on the line. Kushida defends against Kenny King. One more time for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, the Young Bucks defend against the Motor City Machine Guns. War Machine will have a non-title match against Jonathan Gresham and Jay White. No DQ, the Beer City Bruiser will take on Jay Lethal.
Mm-hmm.
The Best Friends will be in tag team action against Coast to Coast. And Punishment Martinez will be facing off against everyone's favorite, being the elite cast member that doesn't want to be there, Flip Gordon.
Where does he think he's going?
Then we have the Women of Honor shows. We have Karen Q as in action. The Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo, taking on the pretty badass Kelly Klein. And in the match that I have a little bit of stake in, Mandy Leone and Jenny Rose take on Asumi Sakai and the debut of Brandy Rhodes.
Fuck Global Force.
Yep, Brandy Rhodes is now in Ring of Honor. Life is good. So we move from ROH to NJPW. Ashley, what's been going on in G1 since last week?
Dead cat. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. We're all sad about Daryl. I completely understand to this day. Bad luck Fale needs to die in a fire. We get it. I understand 100%.
So, hang on. I need to clear my news because there's a lot to talk about here. So, day 2 at first day of the 3 at Korakuen Hall. Block B began. We had Juice Robinson beating Kojima. Tanatonga beating Elgin. Somewhat of a surprise, I guess, there. Sonata beat Evil in a pretty damn good match. Okada beat Toru Yano, which was good for what it was, because obviously Yano's being comedic and everything. The great thing was Okada tied the turnbuckle pad back up when Yano undid it. But then Yano undid it again and did the spot. So basically Okada was going to big splash Yano, but Jado stopped him, saying not to do it. So Yano uses opportunity to shove Jado into Okada and low blow both of them. And when Jado saw this, he low blowed Yano. Okada won with the red ink submission. So a bit different there as well. But it was pretty fun. And Omega versus Suzuki was great, as you'd expect. And afterwards, Omega said that he survived and the Bullet Club survived. His work's far from over. Had to bid adieu, gave props to Suzuki, and then goodbye and good night. So day 3, we're over to Block A again. Goto beat Nagata. Ishii beat Makabe. Ibushi beat Sabre Jr. Said to be very good, if not better than the match with Tanahashi from day 1. Tanahashi beat Fale by countout. Basically, they were fighting on the outside, and Tanahashi managed to get a sling blade and made it in the ring at 19.99999. And then Naito beat Yoshihashi in a really damn good match as well. Naito cut a promo at the end, of course. But, yeah, good matches aplenty on that. Then day 4, the final day at Korakuen Hall. This is where it happened. So on the prelim card, we had Naito, Bushi, and Takahashi beating Fale, Chase Owens, and Yujiro when Naito pinned Owens with a roll-up. But during this, Bad Luck Fale destroyed Daryl the Cat and ripped him to shreds. And Takahashi was, in huge distress because of this. Understandably. So then to the B block matches itself. Toru Yano beat Satoshi Kojima. Okay. Evil beat Juice Robinson. Good match, said to be, certainly from the people that saw it.
Wrong person went over.
Suzuki beat Sanada. Again, good match. Then Omega beat Tama Tonga, which was surprisingly good. Yeah, basically, during the bit, Tonga got on the mic and said, "Fuck the elite." Basically, you should be part of the Bullet Club. So, okay. And then Okada beat Elgin in a very good match. So day 5 at the Tokyo Mashida Gymnasium. It's worth noting that Takahashi is coping with the loss of Daryl with an invisible Daryl, apparently. The cat's soul lives on. So then to Block A for the matches for the G1 itself. Zack Sabre Jr. beat Yoshihashi. Tanahashi victorious over Nagata. Bad Luck Fale beat Naito. Which amazingly was said to be average. So I think Fale is proving to be not as good as we hoped. And I don't know what happened with Naito there. Ibushi beat Ishii in a good match. And then Makabe beat Goto in another good match. Now to day 6. Worth noting that Jado apparently may have tweaked his knee late on in his tag match with Goto, taking on Finlay and Tanahashi. So I don't know whether he's going to be out of action. So to the B block stuff, Elgin beat Kojima. Evil victorious over Tama Tonga. Suzuki beat Juice Robinson. Then we get to the Kenny Omega Yano thing, which apparently the internet's had a go about. If you're looking for a wrestling match, you're not getting it here. Mainly because it's Toru Yano. Deal with it. That's what he does. Did you not work that out by the fact that he keeps shilling his own DVD? Speaking of, that equates to what happened. So Yano had his DVD, politely asked Kenny to open it, and it was salt in it. And he threw the salt into Omega's eyes, rolled him up for a near fall, tried a low blow, while Omega had red shoes up in the one-winged angel because he was blinded.
So good.
Then they took turns trying to expose turnbuckles and rip out each other's hairs. Omega went for a V-trigger, but Yano escaped to the floor. Then came out from under the ring with a bucket, hit Omega with it, but also had wrist tape and taped up Omega's legs. But then Omega managed to get to his feet and tape up Yano's legs. So then they started hopping around doing spots with the tape. Omega then managed to lay out Yano with a Snapdragon suplex, with Chase coming in with scissors. Yano then momentarily stole the scissors, but Omega laid him out with a V-trigger, sending him out the ring, and he wasn't able to get up because of his legs and everything. The ref counted to 20, and Omega wins by count out. That's how you do a fun match with a definitive winner. Via shenanigans. Because it's like, Yano did the shenanigans to try and win. Omega did the same and did. Smart move. And then Okada beat Sanada in a very good match as well. With 3 Rainmakers needed, though, worth noting. So, you know, Sanada's in form. Now we come to day 7 that just happened earlier today. Worth noting that Tomoaki Honma was at ringside for most of the show, and I think did say in sort of an announcement somewhere that he was hoping to come back to the ring in some capacity soon. Obviously didn't say when. But. So we started off with Ishii beating Yoshihashi in a pretty good match. Sabre beat Fale, which was, again, pretty decent. Also, it's worth noting that Sabre, who is a staunch supporter of animal rights, dedicated his victory to Daryl. Yes, he's not part of Suzuki Gun. He's secretly part of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Probably. Makabe beat Ibushi. Wait, what? Sorry, I didn't notice that earlier. That's annoying. Said to be pretty good, though. Another good one, though, was Naito beating Nagata, and then Tanahashi beating Goto. So, as we stand after day 7, keep in mind, because we're at day 7, A Block have had one more match than A Block's had one more match than the B Block people have. So, as it stands, nobody is unbeaten in Block A, because both Naito, Sabre Jr., and Tanahashi are all on 6 points. Then following them, we've got Ibushi, Goto, Fale, and Ishii, and Makabe on 4. Yoshihashi then on 2, and Nagata in his final competition is on 0 points. Why are we doing this shit again? Hang on, who's his last matchup against? Fale. Really? They're gonna. Oh, please don't tell me they do that. Please. B Block. The interesting twist is sort of as me and Owen predicted to some extent. Vaguely remember.
Mm-hmm.
Omega and Okada are 3 for 3 unbeaten as it stands.
Yep.
We'll see what happens, because obviously the next match is happening in the space of roughly about 8 hours at least, as of going live or as we are speaking live at like 7 minutes to 11.
Don't forget the bold prediction I made that everybody thought I was crazy for saying. About Omega losing only once before he wins the whole thing.
When's Omega versus Juice?
That's what I'm waiting for.
Omega versus Juice has already happened, hasn't it? Hang on.
No,
Scroll,
no, it
scroll.
hasn't.
Oh no, it's August 5th. So we won't even find that out till next week. So then again, Elgin could be an interesting one that's coming up. Hang on, we'll preview that in a minute. On 4 points, we've got Suzuki and Evil. On 2 points, Yano, Tonga, Sonata, Juice, and Elgin. And Kojima's languishing away on 0. So previewing this week, coming up today, we've got Elgin, Omega, Okada versus Kojima, Suzuki, Evil, Sonata, Yano, and Robinson, Tonga. I mean, I'm guessing that'll be the continuation of the unbeaten run for both, but I mean, Elgin, I think, is the one that Omega could lose to.
I'm still sticking with Juice.
Because I think they could build that to a US title thing on Ring of Honor.
They can do that, but he doesn't have to win to build to a title match.
They normally do that, though. Keep that in mind. So day 9, so this will be Saturday in Aichi. Block A has Makabe, Nagata, Ibushi, Fale, Goto, Sabre Jr., Tanahashi, Yoshihashi, and Naito versus Ishii. I mean, the main event obviously stands out there, obviously being the last one that I mentioned. That should be pretty good. Then Sunday in Gifu, Block B comes back in. It's Evil versus Yano, Tonga taking on Suzuki, Elgin, Sonata, Okada, Robinson, and Omega, Kojima. What if Juice beat Okada?
I think I said one of them would happen. Either Juice was going to beat Okada or Juice was going to beat Omega, but he's going to be the one person that is the blemish on one of their G1 records.
Part of me thinks that it's going to... It might be the way that I actually think it's going, that they're going to be unbeaten. And then it's like, well, Omega's never beaten Okada, and then they do it in the block final. And that's when you get Omega versus Ibushi. God damn it needs to happen.
See, if they didn't already do the Broadway, I would have made the Broadway the G1 match. Because that way, you would have said that neither man could get the job done. So we have to have another match, and that's when Omega wins when the title's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
But they've already done the Broadway, so you can't do that now, sadly. We'll see. Great things are coming. Hot topic all over.
Day 11, Tuesday. Back to Block A. This time we've got Makabe, Zack Sabre Jr., Naito, Goto, Yoshihashi, Fale, Nagata, Ishii, and Ibushi, Tanahashi. I don't think there's really a weak match in any of them 5.
Nope.
That's a strong thing. It's not like there's one match that's going to be shit. And then day 12, we've got Elgin versus Yano, Sonata versus Robinson, Okada versus Tonga, Suzuki taking on Kojima, and Omega versus Evil. See, that looks a bit one-sided in certain aspects for certain things. So, and that'll be next Wednesday. So everybody will have had 6 matches each by the time we get to next week. And then, thankfully, they're doing it so the following week, everybody will have had their 8 matches as they wait for the 9th and the final weekend and everything. So it's not like we plan, because I remember last year and for the other tournaments, it's always been like one's been ahead of the other. But actually this year, because of when we do the show, it's positioned just beautifully.
Yeah.
Huzzah, hurrah, even numbers. So then we can start doing sort of the bracketology stuff. Like, okay, so if they win and that win and all that goodness.
It's frustrating, though. I really wish I could watch more of the shows, but with the way my schedule is, I can't watch any of the G1. I did watch stuff over the weekend. I watched some stuff over the weekend.
The one thing I will note, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday's the 30th, isn't it?
Yes.
That show does start at 3:30 in the morning Eastern. So given that it will take an hour or so for the stuff to kick in, if you've got to work early, you might be able to have it in the background.
5:15.
Well, in that case, you might be able to have it in the background.
Maybe. Depends on how the Wi-Fi is in
Because
the hotel.
the other ones start at 5:30 and like 6. There's some 4 a.m.s and 3 a.m.s next week as well. But yeah, there's only one opportunity this week, I'd say, for you in terms of catching it live. Even though it's probably a Toru Yano match.
Well, the issue with that is obviously this weekend. Well, not really obviously, but this weekend is kind of full because Darren's coming to town and I'm doing a staycation at Cabana Bay, so I'll be busy all weekend. Be the first time I've worn my my Bullet Club Tekken shirt and my long-awaited Fashion Police shirt out in public.
Oh shit! The shit's going down, son.
Oh my God! They have a brand new shirt that just got on shop. Have you seen this yet? It is a work shirt. It has the Breezango logo in the middle. I mean, like on the shirt, like on the where are we talking about? You know what I'm talking about. On the front, like lapel basically, and on the back it says "Chic and Destroy."
I approve.
I approve greatly. Yeah, if you're interested, shops@wwe.com. So we've come to the part of the night where we're going to be talking about results and other things that have been going on in the wrestling world. So, Ashley, what's going on?
Oh, start off with the news from the week, obviously. So King of Trios have added 3 new teams, with a 4th probably going to be announced in the next day or 2. So the first one they announced was House Body Slam, which is a Danish company, Body Slam Wrestling, I think it's called. So that'll be Michael Finn, Vasil, and Emeritus. But then they mentioned that the final 3 are all relating to the 3 generations of British wrestling. Generation 1 is World of Sport, and the World of Sport crew will be represented by legends Mal Sanders, James Mason, and Danny Boy Collins. And then, and I really think they should rename this, we've got the House of Revival. Yeah, the problem is you never swear at Chikara. So, awkward situation there. I get what they're trying to do because it was the revival in the late 90s, early 2000s when it was trying to get the momentum back again. And that'll be comprising of all the J's. Johnny Storm, Jody Fleisch, and Johnny Moss.
Good Lord, I know those people.
They're going to be one of the teams. I'm hoping they're still there in some capacity come Sunday when I'm going. The last team,
tag matches. Otherwise,
the last team, I don't know. I'm guessing it's the current guys. So possibly El Ligero. You know, I'm trying to think of guys that aren't already in the tournament that could represent the current spate of wrestling. What I doubt it's House of What Culture, but it's going to be something to do with the current spring of talent that's currently around right now. I would argue.
The correct answer is British Strong Style, but that's not a possibility anymore.
No. Nope. Then again, you know, God knows how many Shikara people are currently at WWE. Put in some good words, son. So we'll see. Donovan Dijak apparently is coming to WWE sooner rather than later.
Yep, he's coming to NXT.
I'll be finishing basically his independent bookings and commitments over the next couple of months. So there you go. The complicated shit with Taya and Mundo versus Vampiro and AAA. So this is from Cubs fan, the expert of Lucha Libre. So basically, last week, Mundo went to Twitter calling Vampiro a mark for himself and a two-faced lying douchebag who believes his own lies. Which, by the way, was pinned to the top of his Twitter. So Vampiro posted his side of the story. And the original comments to a fan who was angry have been deleted. Basically, he praised Mundo and Taya, saying he was irresponsible how I went about the situation with her. Also allude to other people making the decisions. I do not do anything on my own. It's not my fault if talent's unhappy with me. Rodan! So basically, there's some people thinking that this is storyline and whatever. But Cubs fan basically makes some good notes. One, loud and angry is what most people do when they leave the company. If you look at it. Also, it's all being done in English in Twitter rather than in Spanish. So, they're doing it for the English audience. I hope they're not doing it to try and get people to watch the bloody pay-per-view when it's going bloody head-to-head, technically, with McGregor and Mayweather. Who knows? Either way, it's a mess. Who knows what's going on? The thing is, there's even more to that now because they had a press conference either today or yesterday for Triple Mania. Yeah, that shit's coming up. So we'll get to that in a minute. WWE and Mattel at Comic-Con confirmed a new product line aimed at girls with fashion model dolls of both Bellas, Sasha, Natalia, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Alicia Fox, and Eva Marie.
Why the hell's Bailey not in this list? I'm sorry.
Because she doesn't look like a fucking trollop. Like all of these have done over the past year and a half. It's worth noting that the pre-orders have already sold out for the Bellas. We've confirmed that Davey Richards is leaving pretty much all of wrestling.
Yep.
To focus on medical school. That's got a knock-on effect for what's coming up this weekend as well in the UK. So thanks for the notice. Although, if you look at his tweet announcing it, there's an interesting thing underneath. Prograps Ratings said to him, any chance we'll see an official send-off at PWG or ROH? And Davey replied, I'd very much like to have one last match for Ring of Honor. September 3? Perhaps August?
It's possible.
I don't know. So here's the big one. That all we know basically is the only way we can confirm this is because Dave said it. So over in Japan, a press conference was held on July the 24th, so Monday. That a 19-year-old wrestler for Ice Ribbon was arrested on the 22nd in the Saitama Prefecture for a fight where a 25-year-old wrestler not belonging to the promotion was injured. The arrested wrestler's name was apparently unheld due to her being underage, while the victim's name was withheld by their own request. The victim's also been described as a friend and a longtime mentor of the arrested wrestler. That's interesting. The thing worth to note about it is we know who they are, because it's Sakushi apparently trying to stab Kagetsu with an actual knife. And yeah, Sakushi is 19. She started wrestling when she was 12. What the actual fuck? Why have we got wrestlers trying to knife other wrestlers? What is this? So, now, as if that wasn't crazy enough, let's get to Triple Mania. Jeez. So the card that we have, we've got a tournament called the Lave a la Gloria, which apparently the final is going to be at Triple Mania. The thing is, the number of participants in this tournament, the format of the tournament, and the participants that are taking part in it are still unconfirmed.
Oh, boy.
Then, we'll put everybody in a match. Big Mami Dinastia Estrella Divina and Mascara de Bronze take on Hernandez, La Hiedra, Mamba, and Mini Psycho Clown. Then Sexy Star will be taking on a mystery opponent, an opponent to be decided in the Agua Calientes. It will be Sexy Star's first defense on TV, apparently. She's already defended it, even though she got it by default or whatever. Dark Cuevo and Dark Scoria take on Aerostar and Drago and Monster Clown and Murder Clown, and two teams from Global Force Wrestling for the tag belts. Cuevo and Scoria are defending, I believe. So then we got the Copper Triple Mania, which is the 30-person Rumble. As it stands, we have La Parca, Lashley, Musicosis 2, Intocable, Scorpio Jr., Pimpinella Escalata, and Lanzaloff, who earned his spot from a golden opportunity, along with numbers 9 through 30.
Oh, my God.
We'll include people that are not in AAA, but maybe worked in the past. So some of the names being bandied around are like Pirata Morgan, Sangre Chicana, Blue Demon Jr., the Villanos, all those sort of people. Then we've got the Triple Threat, with Johnny Mundo taking on Tejano Jr. and El Hijo de Fantasma for the Latin American title, the Cruiserweight title, and the AAA Heavyweight title, apparently in a TLC match as well. What? Then we got a street fight with Pagano versus El Macias, and then the Mask versus Mask match against Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner Jr. Please tell me they're actually going to have the old timer give up his mask and retire. Or are they going to let Psycho Clown get unmasked and then get signed by WWE? Who knows? They were treating the biggest match that they were announcing as Pagano and Macias, because obviously they've been building up Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner for the whole year. Apparently the two, Pagano and El Macias, tried to get in a fight with Security and Vampiro. So, who knows? Vampiro's Facebook explanation for taking the title away from Taya was Taya had won it by referee stoppage, so they were taking titles seriously and had to change hands via pinfall via decision. He's now made a match where the men's titles will change hands not via pinfall and not via submission because it's TLC. Do you notice the double standards here, Owen?
Yeah.
Ever so slightly. Also, keep in mind, TLC means stupid finishes, which is interesting because AAA want to be known as creative storytellers. So, you know.
I've got a little news myself. So,
just having a look about that. Taya being caught off guard by AAA, taking the title from her and giving it to Sexy Star, apparently was real. The anger's real, and that the decision that the best revenge would be not to quit the company, but basically make sure AAA paid Johnny Mundo every dollar that was owed to him and satisfy themselves with making Vampiro look like a twat. Good views there from Cubs fan. Go ahead. What was your bit?
We have a comment from Wit in chat.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Smackdown this week.
Uh-oh.
He said the crowd was kind of snarky and mean. The three-way was one of the best, might be the best match he's ever seen live. And the Bollywood Boys helped Jinder beat John Cena in the dark match for the night. There was a CM Punk chant for about a second during 205 Live, but then someone shouted at them to shut up.
Yeah. Not surprised.
Thank you, Whit.
Also, Psychosis and Sexy Star returning to AAA. Apparently, it indicates that AAA is willing to make a deal with anybody, regardless of what happened. So, you know, apparently expect to see Aerostar and Drago and, Phoenix, Pentagon, or Darga and Garza Jr. showing up again because they're desperate. The other good bit of news is apparently they don't have a specific GFW tag team, and they were indicating that it would be the Walls of Edwards and Richards. So the 2v2 women's tag match that is apparently going to lead to whoever's going to challenge Sexy Star. The two most likely women to get the title shot are currently booked, are not booked in that tag match. So who knows what's going on there. So yeah, it seems to be a bit of a mess. What a surprise. So apparently this Lave a la Gloria thing is basically for newcomers. Because looking at the notes here, it says that the final tryouts this Saturday, and they'll select the finalists in August. And they'll be on the Triple Mania card. So, bruh. They claim they've sold out apparently 60 to 65% of the arena, which is interesting because at the last press conference, they said 80%. So, it's not looking great, but we'll see what happens in the next month. The 30 for 30 with Nature Boy is going to be coming Tuesday, November the 7th at 10 p.m. Eastern. So fuck 205 Live that week. Nature Boy, the documentary on Flair's life and career in pro wrestling, will be part of it, which will be featuring interviews with his first wife, his kids, and people close to him, along with wrestlers like Triple H and Hogan and Steamboat and Baby Doll and Blanchard and Tully Blanchard and Undertaker and Arn Anderson and HBK and Sting and Road Warrior Animal. So, you know, pretty big. It seems as if Renee Young is going to be on SmackDown and Raw from now on. For good. And Mike's got murdered, along with Kathy Kelly. Why is it the good people get murdered? What's going on?
Nah, I think he'll be fine.
Cena and Roman Reigns keep having a Twitter feud with each other. Don't give a fuck. Matt Hardy said that on Twitter, him, Jeff, and Rebby spent $2,500 in 4 days creating the final deletion set with zero help from TNA. And then in an interesting one, the New York Times had an article about CTE in football players. And the person from the person from the Boston University, Dr. Ann McKee of the CTE Center, examined the brains of 111 deceased former football players. How many do you think had CTE, Owen?
How many was there again?
111.
100.
110. 99%. Obviously, there is a selection bias involved with the process, given that many of the brains were donated by families because they showed the CTE symptoms. So it's not a sign, it's not a true scientific study, but it's proof that if they might have it, they probably have. That's not good. So apparently, I mentioned this Monday, but it's sort of reported now officially that the reason why nobody gave a shit about the last hour of the Punjabi prison matches stuff is because tickets for the Royal Rumble went on sale at 10:45. So rather than watch the show, they just got in line early. Apparently, the lines were going completely round the lobbies.
How NXT used to be in Full Sail, but not anymore.
Total Bella Season 2 comes September 6th. And then straight after that, a new season of Total Divas, which is going to be featuring Nia Jax and some other people. I can't remember. Apparently, Charlotte Flair's in Psych the movie or something. Fight Nation, the promotion in the UK, has bought out IPW from the owner, Daniel Elder. So Billy Wood is now in charge, but he said that very little will change and the name will remain, the IPW UK name. Rob Schamberger has signed a deal with Mattel to use his drawings for action figures. So this is a big one. I'll quickly mention it here, but I'll go to the full results later. AIW's Absolution was a pretty solid show, which had a major issue. Basically, the match got majorly affected because Flip Kendrick, out of a Ninja Elite squad, did a dive to the outside, missed the matting, and went head first onto the wooden floor. The match was immediately well, it wasn't stopped, but it was halted. So that I'll see if I can get Gregory Irons' tweet on this, because he was the guy that was tweeting about it at first. The good news about it since is, hang on, let me scroll back up to where we were. That's UFC news. That's not that. Don't mind me. I'm looking through too many fucking notes. He didn't have any broken bones and only needed a couple of stitches at the ER. I'll see if I can. Where is it? Man, Gregory Iron likes publicizing this stuff. Right, here we go. Let me just have a quick look. After spending over 8 hours in the emergency room, Flips informed me that he's finally been treated and released. While performing a double moonsault to the floor during their tag match, things went terribly wrong and Flip cracked his head against the hardwood floor. A large gash was opened on his forehead above his left eye, swelling shut within minutes. Miraculously, he stayed coherent and never lost consciousness. There were concerns that plastic surgery would be needed, and there may be broken bones in his face, but no plastic surgery is required, no broken bones were found, and only stitches were needed. Big shout out to the locker room for coming together during a highly stressful and scary situation on an already emotionally charged night. Of course, this was the night that they were doing in tribute as well to Chandler Biggins, who died a month or so back. Special thanks to Jim Nye for driving us to the hospital and Derek Direction and his girlfriend and nurse, Alex Donahue, who acted quickly in helping to treat and keep Flip calm during the ordeal. While I had to bail at 4 a.m. to get a couple of hours of sleep before leaving for a show in West Virginia, Derek and Alexis stayed with Flip all night. Flip and his brother, Lewis Linden, have been two of the most underrated and underutilized talents in the last decade. I hope that you, the fans, really appreciate how they put their bodies on the line for you guys, and any opportunity that you have to encourage them, I encourage you to do so. So yeah, that thankfully that went not too badly. On a better note, Kelly Klein, B. Priestley, and Scarlett Bordeaux will all be debuting for Stardom in October. So they'll be getting some Japanese experience. As we've previously mentioned, I think Alberto is now no longer considered a suspect. I know there was a thing in today's daily update basically saying that the arrest warrant for Paige thing was apparently a rumor thing. They're still doing the investigations into the claims, but there was some fake news regarding that spreading around the internets and stuff. Tickets have gone on sale for Ring of Honor's Global War show involving the New Japan talent in October. The shows are the 12th of October in Buffalo, the 13th in Pittsburgh, and the 14th of October in Columbus, Ohio. Evolve's main event for the show in Queens in 2 weeks' time has changed. It was originally Tracy Williams versus Matt Riddle, but now that is becoming Riddle taking on Tracy Williams along with Keith Lee and Walter. And also, Sega and WWE announced Tap Mania, which is basically a clicker game. Pretty much.
It's interesting.
With Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. Because clicker games need commentary. What?
It's a weird game.
Clickers normally are, unless it's some anime girl that's getting naked.
Yeah, it's super obnoxious to try to play.
Why am I not surprised? So CMLL have announced that their anniversary show will be on September the 16th, which is a Saturday, which is interesting because it's been Friday for years, so who knows. Then we got more on the Vamp stuff. There might be a Vampiro versus Kevin Cross match as well, apparently, at Triple Mania that they haven't confirmed.
Do you have confirmation on Bola yet?
Well, tickets haven't gone on sale yet, have they?
They go on sale Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
And go sold out at 8:05 Pacific time.
Yep.
Also, keep in mind the tickets are, I think, like $85 and $110.
Something like that.
We're up in the prices, bitches.
Yep,
because
85 and 110.
It's Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. So a recent TV taping, a match between El Tejano Jr. and Marty the Moth never aired on TV, but was put on the internet. So as it stands, Lucha still can't allow its characters to appear on AAA television. Christ. There's a notable power play going on with CMLL, telling Ring of Honor that as partners, they shouldn't allow their contracted talent work at the Crash because they consider it their territory. So that obviously includes people like the Bucks and Cody and Lethal and Silas and all that. So, I mean, the deal there is they can't work anywhere in the world except PWG. They can do shows outside of the US and Toronto, apparently. So, who knows? Pete Dunne's looking for more bookings in September or October. By the way, that UK TV show that they said, who knows what the shit's happening with that? Does that mean we're actually going to have Jim Ross and Nigel McGuinness at Shug's house party this weekend?
Would be nice.
Oh, we won't, obviously. Interestingly, along with Rey Mysterio and Prince Puma, Angelico's on a contract that expires at the end of this season. So we'll see what's going on there. Magnus has left the company. Basically, he only came back to sort of pass the belt over to Alberto rather than do shenanigans. And that right, Vamp? And that right? GFW are planning a Midwest house show run in October. So then there's a lot of arguments on the Hardys and Anthem broken rights gimmick and whatever. So apparently they first agreed on the Hardys paying between $10,000 and $15,000 for the rights, with a clause that every time Rebby would treat about Anthem or people in Anthem, she'd have to pay a $1,000 penalty the first time and $5,000 each subsequent time. The story claims Anthem ended up not signing off and instead wanting 50% of the revenue for all merchandise related to the gimmick. This has got interesting as of today, because she's still tweeting about it, claiming that Matt's taped all the phone calls with Ed Nordholm and saying that Nordholm's lying about the situation. Because in Sports Illustrated, Nordholm said that Anthem's moving on after trying to reach a resolution and that Matt's prepared to tell falsehoods about the contract that he had with TNA. Matt's also stated on Twitter that he had the entire conversation with Nordholm recorded and that Nordholm lied to defame him. So that's awkward. Ric Flair was in Knoxville this week campaigning for Kane. Flair was saying that Kane would not increase their taxes. That isn't a very Kane thing. It's also worth noting that on last week's Table for Free, with Charles Wright, Warren Simmons, and Mark Henry, Mark did mention that his job was transferring from talent to employee over the next few months. So that match against Strowman might have been his last appearance. Possibly. Who knows? And in terms of the news today, WWE will be having its second quarter financials revealed tomorrow morning, or in about 12 hours time, at least as of 11:33 as we are live. Omega had a go at Davey Boy Smith Jr. because of criticizing the Yano match. Omega basically said, "What's worse, successful comedy within the confines of a ring, or a failed attempt at being entertaining while wrestling seriously?" Fair point. Fair point. I think that's all there. So, we'll transition, because I don't think the letter's up yet. And if it is, we ain't going to have enough time. No, it isn't. Right, so results. So we'll start off with back to Japan. For Dragon Gate Japan, or Dragon Gate, I guess, because there ain't any other. The Kobe World Hall, the Kobe Pro Wrestling Festival show. So Jimmy Kagetora retained the Brave Gate title. The number one contenders tournament was won by the Jimmies, beating Kotoka Big R and Ben K in the final. Before that as well, Kotoka Big R and Ben K beat Gamaita and Yamamura, and the Jimmies beat BB Hulk, KZ, and Yosuke Santa Maria. It's also worth noting as well, randomly, there was a match beforehand with the Jimmies, Don Fuji, and Mochizuki beating Ishida, Yoshika, Skywalker, and Watanabe. Then afterwards, Mochizuki, I guess, was challenged to a match by Ishikawa, which Masuki won anyway. So, weird. With the Triangle Gate titles, Shingo Takagi, Takashi Yoshida, and El Linderman retained. So the Jimmies went through 2 matches, and then the third match, of course, they lost because they're knackered. Then again, actually looking at it, their first match went 11 minutes. Their finals match went 10.5 minutes, and then the title match went 20. Jesus Christ, those guys. Dragon Kid retained the Troin Gate title with Chima over Naruki Doi and Masato Yoshino. And Yamato beat T-Hawk to retain the Dream Gate title. It's interesting because most people watching outside of Japan really believe that Yamato is sort of like the John Cena at the minute. As in, well, I guess the comparison could be Roman, I guess, in that nobody really gives a shit about him as champion and they don't think he should be champion. So that's a bit strange. The one thing worth noting, though, is what came out in the middle of it. So after the intermission, the president of Dragon Gate, Okamura, came out, noting that this was the 19th Kobe World Hall show and the 15th straight sellout, thanking the fans who took time out their busy schedules to come for making it possible. This year, Dragon Gate will have 201 shows. There's been shows in every prefecture in Japan. And this year, a big show in Sendai has been added to the schedule. The show today will be airing later in the summer on network television in Japan. But there was one more announcement to make. It's time to take another step forward. It's time to advance from Asia into the rest of the world. This won't be like in the past when there's an event that they come home to. You know, they have an event, then they go home. Asia will be the launching pad into the rest of the world. But, of course, the center of activity will be in Japan and in Kobe. Thank the fans and ask them to join the remaining matches of the best pro wrestling in the world. So it looks as if Dragon Gate's trying to go international. It'd be ironic if they're trying to do Dragon Gate USA again. That'd be really cool. Not in a good way. So here's the complicated thing. So beginning August 5th in Kyoto and then continuing on throughout the events, going on to September 16th in Osaka, all 5 stables, that's Jimmy's, Berserk, Overgeneration, Tribe, Vanguard, and Maximum, will be having all their matches will be considered league matches, whether it be 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, whatever. All units will participate in an equal number of matches during league play. Oh, we're stealing ideas from bloody Shikara. I like it. Title matches, dark matches, and any match that also involves an unaffiliated wrestler won't count. The bottom 2 ranking teams then at the end of the season, or the league play, I guess, will face off in a unit disbands match at the Dangerous Gate show in Osaka on September the 18th. So a few days after Osaka. The composition of the match will be determined by the amount of members of the participating units. For example, if both units have 5 members, but a member of one of the units has a scheduled championship match, then the disbandment match will be a 4v4 match. So yeah, high stakes apparently happening. I don't have any results for On Point Wrestling from this past weekend. All I do know is Nick fucking Gage showed up. He's back, bitches. We'll get to him. Freelance Wrestling, their combined show with CZW, the Freelance versus CZW 2 show from the Logan Square Auditorium in Chicago. Creed Christian won the 8-man scramble, beating Brendan Conway, Zicky Dice, Elliot Paul, Pat Monix, Jimmy Lloyd, Anthony Bennett, and Ace Austin. Shug D beat Ricky Shane Page. The Minnesota Mafia defeated the Private Party. In a CZW Rules match, Matt Tremont beat Craig Mitchell with a Liger bomb onto Thumbtacks. Afterwards, the 4-Star Heroes beat the shit out of Craig Mitchell. But then Kenny Sutra sneak attacked out and injured Chris Castro's knee. Robert Anthony made DJ Hyde tap out via submission. Team CZW beat Team Freelance with Stevie Fierce costing Team Freelance the victory after smashing his own partner GPA with a mirror to the skull. That's, of course, because GPA is the former champ. Stevie Fierce is the current champ. So clearly they are not on the same page. And Isaias Velasquez beat Leo Rush via a small package in his last appearance for Freelance. Before he goes to the E. So Shikara had another hour of power this past Sunday. 5 matches on it, actually, in an hour. Murloc beat Doc Diamondfire. The Rumblebees beat The Force. Cajun Crawdad beat Dasher Hatfield by DQ. Basically, Murloc attacked Hatfield behind the ref's back because he was preoccupied. Mr. Touchdown came in to make the save, but the referee called for the DQ when Touchdown attacked Crawdad. And then the throwbacks wiped out Crawdad for a 3D, and Murloc bailed before they could do the same to him. Methinks that the Seaman team is probably facing the throwbacks in round 1 of King of Trios, or at some point in the competition. Sonny Defarge, Cornelius Cromwells, and the Whisper beat Oberian and Team Sea Stars. It's worth noting that basically Whisper, Delmi Exo blind tagged herself in, and then Whisper cut back on the prawn hold and dropped all his body weight on the neck and legs to basically get the pinfall. And then Exo's tag partner, Ashley Vox, left without her. So the Sea Stars are not on the same page, it seems. And then the Young Lions Cup has changed hands again. Razorhawk beating Hermit Crab with a sunset flip into a folding press with a back bridge. So Razorhawk is the new Young Lions Cup champion. So AIW's Absolution 12 from this past Friday. We had Dominic Guarini beat the Duke. Frankie Flynn beat PB Smooth. Britt Baker beat Swoggle via submission and interference by Adam Cole, baby. Good. Tom Lawler beat Eddie Kingston via submission. Ethan Page defeated Sean Schultz. The new AIW team of Trey Lamar, Garrison King, Joshua Bishop, AJ Gray, and Chase Oliver beat the old AIW team of Matthew Justice, the Jollyville Fuckets of Russ Myers and T-Money, Bobby Beverly, and Eric Ryan. Shayna Baszler beat Mia Yim via submission to retain the AIW Women's title. Joey Janela beat Alex Daniels by submission to win the Intense belt. To Infinity and Beyond retained the tag belts over Crazy Pain, the Ninja Elite Squad, and Laredo Kid and DJ Z. Of course, as I said, that got overshadowed by the Flip Kendrick stuff, which was a bit of a shame. And then the main event saw Tim Donst retain the Absolute title, beating Tracy Williams, Joshua Bisham, and Lewis Linden. And then Nick Gage showed up, beat the shit out of Donst, and held up the title. By the way, next month's show's got Glacier on it. And the following week after that, there's a show with Sandman. Nick Gage had better not be in the same bloody place. Oh, wait, it's an outdoor thing. Can we get the police in, please? So Wrestle Circus over on Twitch had their Squared Ring Circus show this past Saturday. So the dark match had Steve Areno win the chance to be on the main card, and Reno was basically waiting for his opponent, and turned out as the returning Lance Archer, with Lance winning pretty quickly with a few chokeslams. Maxwell Jacob Feinstein retained the Wire title over Leo Rush. Rush got the mic afterwards and thanked Maxwell for being his last Wrestle Circus opponent, and they had a hug, and then he kneed Leo Rush right in the balls. Ethan Page lost to the Mecha Wolf because he is no longer 450. Who knows? Scorpio Sky beat ACH. It's worth noting that they've now added a stipulation. Scorpio Sky is facing Cody, but there's an added twist. That match between Scorpio and Cody will be for the Ring of Honor title if Kevin Condren can beat Brandy Rhodes. So we'll have to see. Sammy Guevara beat Flip Gordon. Then Taya and John Morrison came out saying how Vamp stripped her of her belt and gave it to Sexy Star. So they announced that they'd be soon going to GFW. The crowd basically didn't give a shit because it's like, fuck, they didn't say, because there's kids there, they didn't go fuck TNA, or fuck GFW, but it was close. But they did say fuck you to Lucha Underground and GFW as well at the same time, because she's going to be in the Pro Wrestling Revolver Open Invitational match for the Scramble title. Jordan Lennox retained it, taking on Andy Dalton, AR Fox, Dave Christ, Jake Christ, Desmond Xavier, Jason Cade, Myron Reed, Space Monkey, Zachary Wentz, Taya Valkyrie, and Leva Bates, who for some reason was dressed as Sami Callihan. This may not have been a wise thing to do, because Sami Callihan then came out, beat the shit out of Lennox, gave Leva a ridiculous pile driver, and then he just said, fuck NXT, fuck Lucha Underground, fuck Wrestle Circus, fuck Pro Wrestling Revolver. Yes, it's my own promotion, but fuck it. And it's like, geez, he's going off the chain, man. And Strickland said, okay, you want to make this interesting? Tonight's match for the title's no DQ. So, okay, that happened. John Morrison beat Donovan Dijak. Roppongi Vice retained the tag belts against the Lucha Brothers. Now I need to go back to Twitter because they just announced a match. The people that run it just actually followed me, so that's how I found it out. Quick. E1XX7, here we go. Roppongi Vice will be defending against Adam Cole and Britt Baker. Oh, shit. Ooh, that's interesting. Christy James and Javers Cottonbelly beat Boom and Doom of Delilah Doom and Colt Cabana. And the interesting thing, though, afterwards, The group of students that attacked Jervis on the last Wrestle Circus show surround the ring, and someone covered in a black robe enters, and we find out the person behind the beatings. And it's the hated ref in Wrestle Circus. It's Austin. It was Austin all along. Gosh, shit. Son of a bitch. Shane Strickland retained the ringmaster title over Sami Callihan. And then the big one. Tessa Blanchard beat Rachel Ellering to retain the Slideshow title and win the Lady of the Ring title. Rachel Ellering's first loss. And therefore, the first title change as well for the Lady of the Ring title. So congrats to the new champion. Progress this Sunday, past Sunday, should I say, had vote pies. Don't know why it was vote pies, but I'll like it. I'll allow it. So we had a three-way match with CCK beating the Banter Edition and Extra Talented. Tyson T-Bone victorious over Mike Bird. Tony Storm retained the Progress Women's title against Laura Di Matteo. Matt Riddle beat Travis Banks thanks to some Pete Dunne distractions. Jack Sexsmith beat Chief Deputy Dunne, Zach Gibson, and Chuck Mambo in the four-way. Pete Dunne beat Eddie Dennis. And British Strong Style retained the Progress Tag Belts in a Tornado tag match against War Machine. With Trent pinning Hansen with a pedigree on one of the title belts. Yes, British Strong Style are doing Triple H moves. Oh, the one thing I remember from the last one, which was in the video package that was the hype up vote pies. Guess what Pete Dunne uses now as a weapon? Owen. Owen. Snake. God damn it. Okay, I have to do it myself. He uses a sledgehammer. Who knew? Who knew? So this coming weekend, Lucha Toronto have a show at the Rock Pile in Toronto, Ontario. One thing to note about this one, though, they note that the Death Proof Pro Wrestling company have had to take a forced sabbatical, and it says in the notes, while we understand they're fighting an intense legal case. So I don't know whether it's over the name of Death Proof or something. So I'm not sure. So basically, Jesse Amato will be defending the Death Proof Drunken Weight. Sorry. Yeah. Amato will be defending the Drunk Weight title against former champ John Greed and Warhead. It was originally supposed to be Warhead and Greed, but as a sort of chance for Death Proof to get some sort of matches while they can't do matches themselves, they're doing it as a showcase thing. There's also a four-way with Argus, Holden Albright, Hermit Crab, and Mike Orlando. The Fraternity take on the Super Smash Brothers. Carter Mason one-on-one with Sonny Kiss. Lionel Knight takes on Freddie Mercurio. ACH one-on-one with Space Monkey. He's upgraded. And the Premier title will be on the line as well as Deshaun Pratt takes on Aero Boy, who isn't Aero Starred, a completely different wrestler, by the way. There's also a live performance from Polarity. Apparently, they're a music group. That's all I know about them. CWF Mid-Atlantic this Saturday presents No Excuses at the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium in Gibsonville, North Carolina. The 4 Weaver Cup matches for the first round on this one are Ethan Sharp versus Hanson Mitch Connor, Cam Carter taking on Smith Garrett, Kane Justice versus Chip Day, and Roy Wilkins versus Chet Sterling. Those winners of those matches will progress on to mid-August for the quarterfinals, and then the semi-finals and the finals a few weeks later on August 26th. Also on the card, the Mid-Atlantic tag belts on the line, and Zane and Dave Dawson would defend against Dirty Daddy and Snooty Fox. And Eric Andrews defends the TV title against the random challenger or randomly chosen by a fan. Mecha Mercenary Aaron Biggs and the Sandwich Squad are also to be part of the show as well. Alpha One Wrestling has The Purge 2. Hopefully it's better than the movie The Purge 2. I thought that might wake Owen up. Perhaps not. So that's happening at 222 Queenston Road in Hamilton, Ontario. Doors open at 3 with a bell time of 4. Tickets are, if you can get them in advance, they're $15 general admission. Canadian, that is, of course, and $20 front row. They go up by $5 on the door if you go on the day. Matches confirmed so far. Maxwell Jacob Freeman versus Shane Saber. Stevie Fears defends the freelance title against Matt Nix, Kurt Stallion, and Dominic Guarini with Stokely Hathaway. Alex Daniels one-on-one with ACH. Kobe Durst defends the Alpha Male title against Ricky Shane Page. And the tag belts are back on the line as the champs, 2 stars of Ethan Page and Cody, defend against the former champs, Gavin Quinn and Josh Alexander of The Virus. Over to the UK, Fight Club Pro this Friday has International Techers Part 1, because there is a Part 2 coming August 25th as well, which is entitled Championship Edition, which I do like the sound of. There is a meet and greet at 6 p.m. with £20 entry. So I guess that's with whoever you want from the thing. That's why it's a relatively high entry point. Making their debuts, Fight Club Pro will be Jeff Cobb and Keith Lee. I don't know what they're doing, though, because they haven't confirmed that yet. Although there is one spot that's there. We'll get to that. We've also got Carl Fletcher versus Mark Haskins. CCK of Chris Brooks and Monday Lycos take on Extra Talented of Ricky Starks and Aaron Solo. The World's Cutest Tag Team of Candice and Joey take on Barely Legal of the referee Shea Purser and the Session Moth Martina. And the main event, British Strong Style of Dunn, Seven and Bait take on the World Warriors of Travis Banks, Low Key, and a mystery person because Davey Richards has had to pull out. So I'm guessing Keith Lee or Jeff Cobb could fill in there, but we'll have to see. Progress Wrestling this Sunday at the Electric Ballroom in Camden. It's sold out. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Chapter 53, Fate Loves the Fearless. There's a pre-show match at 3:30 with the first bell at 4 and hopefully finishing by about 8. On the card, Never Say Die make their Progress Chapter debut. They've been on like the undercards and on the Freedom's Road tapings and other shows. So they make their chapter debut. That's Dylan, D'Angelo, and Alex Cupid taking on the newly formed team of Zach Gibson and James Drake. CCK and Extra Talented go at it again, but this time it's for a number 1 contender spot to the Progress Tag Belts. Chief Deputy Dunn goes one-on-one with Chuck Mambo. And then in the Pick Your Opponents deal, Travis Banks picked Jack Sexsmith as Pete's opponent. Pete decided to give Travis Banks Keith Lee. Blimey. But the English wrestling isn't over yet because ICW is having a big old house party. Or should I say, hoose party. Shug's hoose party. Over 2 nights now at the Glasgow O2 ABC. Day 1 is sold out. I think there's a few tickets still available for day 2. Cards don't look too bad for either one. So, Saturday, day 1. We've got Liam Thompson and Bull James versus Luke King Sharp and Kid Fipe. Thomas Kearns versus Dickie Divers. That might be referee versus referee, I'm not sure. Lionheart takes on Joe Hendry in an unsanctioned match. Jody Fleisch versus Super Crazy. Stevie Boy takes on Mikey Whiplash in a dog collar match. Joe Coffey and Grado team up to take on the Pinky Party of the returning Noam Dar, I believe for one night only, along with his old partner Shay Samuels. or Shah Samuel, should I say. Kaylee Ray defends the women's title against Casey Owens. The Zero G belt will be up on a ladder with Zach Gibson defending against Kenny Williams. And the big one, I would argue, Pete Dunne defending the WWE UK title against Wolfgang, BT Gunn, and Trent Seven. Should be interesting. Then night 2 on Sunday. As I say, there's a few tickets still available for this one. We've got the Scheme Wedding of Ray V. Davey and the Session Moth. Polo Promotions and Marauders take each other on. The interesting thing about that is the Marauders is 3 people, but Polo Promotions is 2. If Polo Promotions win, they get a shot at the tag belts at a future show. But if the Marauders win, Mark Coffey and Jackie Polo will never be allowed to team again in ICW. Aaron Echo goes one-on-one with Jody Fleisch. Wolfgang takes on Super Crazy. Shah Samuels versus Grado. DCT and Adam Shame face Davey Blaze and the Wee Man in a Kiss My Arse match. And then in a steel cage, Joe Coffey defends the ICW World title against Jack Jester. Will Jack get the title back? Who knows? Probably. But then on top of that, Beyond Wrestling has got American Rana this Sunday. Their big show of the year in Worcester, Massachusetts at the White Eagle venue, 116 to 120 Green Street. I think there's some tickets still available for the matinee show. It's $15 general admission, so it's pretty good. The late afternoon evening show is sold out though, so I mean, tickets apparently are non-refundable and cannot be exchanged, so you have to look on the secondary market for them, I guess. I know there are some people that have them on if you go to their Facebook page, there's some stuff in the comments of the event pages, people saying that they've got tickets that they now want to get rid of or whatever. So the matinee show features to be confirmed, scheduled to compete, Bucks Belmar and Tabernacle Team, Ryan Gallion, Mike Werner and Dan Barry, and an injured Rex Lawless. By the way, Gallion, Werner, Barry, and Lawless are all supposed to be like a stable. So, methinks we've got a 6-man settled there. With Bucks Belmar and Tabernacle Team, by the way. So, the matches we do know, Jay Freddy one-on-one with Rory Gulak. Tracy Williams takes on Mikey Webb. Ace Romero versus Brian Malonis. One last time, it'll be Brandon Watts versus AR Fox with a special guest referee to be assigned to it. And Bobby Fish one-on-one with Filthy Tom Lawler. So the American Rana show itself, we've got a TLC match between Swoggle and Chuck Taylor. John Silver one-on-one with JT Dunn. The Doom Patrol of Dickinson and Yaka face Lufisto and Jordan Grace of Team PAWG. Brian Cage takes on Jonathan Gresham. Roppongi Vice face the Hit Squad of Dan Matthew and Monster Mac. Donovan Dijak one-on-one with David Starr in Dijak's last appearance before he's off to the E. The Lucha Bros of Penta and Phoenix face EYFBO of Drastic and Ortiz. And then the main event, Matt Riddle one-on-one with Joey Janela. Ooh, that could be interesting. Very interesting. So I think that's us done and all that shenanigans. See, this time I know that I can hear Owen, so I'm just waiting for the thing. Owen, have you fallen asleep?
Owen, we need to finish the show. Owen, this is awkward. finished. Poop.
So that's our show.
It was asleep. Hey, that's we consider he's got to be up in 5 hours. Makes sense.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. And that is our show for tonight. Join us on Monday when we're back here to talk more wrestling. We're talking Monday for our Monday Night Raw Popcast as soon as Raw is over. Wednesday, back here yet again at 9 p.m. And we're also going to be doing our regularly scheduled programming here this week. We have AJ's movie reviews on Saturday versus on Friday. Ashley takes care of his content with Gaming with Ash is going to be returning this weekend, and also more content as well. And then who knows what might be coming your way in the near future. And hopefully I'll have myself some Bullet Club shirts. So my apologies for being out of it. I'm extremely tired. It's time to go sleepy. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So where can we find you on social media, Ashley?
I'm on Twitter at AshesMyNameUK, where apparently I'm getting a lot of attention now from Wrestle Circus.
There you go.
If they're listening, hello. If they're not, hello anyway.
How it happens. And you can follow me on Twitter at Siro and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Facebook fan page of Popcast Network. And as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more this evening you've chosen a podcast. I thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Oh, Darrow. That rhyme, that sounds like Oh Carol. God damn it, Neil Sedaka.